Last time on the wilds of Valandiir, the crown collectors, having recently arrived in the city of Dane, readied their gear and stocked up on supplies to last a journey into the plains northwest of the city in order to hunt a legendary beast known as the Shark of the Shambling Fields. Having learned of a stone spire beside a river adorned in tribal markings as a possible landmark near to the beast's territory, they hitched their cart, mounted off, set off onto the trail. On the way out of the city, they had also encountered the construction of several tents and arenas dedicated to the much-anticipated Ellington Classic, an infamous tournament said to bring both riches and prestige to any who place highly in its many competitions. Not wanting to miss out, the crown collectors each signed their names under various events and continued along the Emperor's highway towards the realm of the Shark. While camping in the woods, the group witnessed the passing of several creatures, giant snake-like monsters, a few goblins, and a trio of foul venom trolls that unfortunately resulted in losing one of their horses to the monsters. And that is where we left off. Your cart, now free from the muck and bramble of the washing stream. The corpse of Koza's horse lays dead in front of the cart, still strapped to the reins and weighing everything down. Crown collectors, what would you like to do?
Let's try to unhitch this dead horse.
Okay. It's easy enough to do. I'm not going to make you make a roll. It's just a simple number of straps and buckles that keeps the horse in play.
All right, so we're all on the other side of the river now. We're all on dry land now.
Yeah, I would say with just a little bit of effort, you guys are able to drag the corpse of Koza's horse off the beaten trail. It's, for lack of a better word, a perfectly good horse corpse. It just has some slashes across its throat and midsection. All of its leather reins and bit and bridle are intact. But you were able to get the cart back onto the trail. It'll be up to you guys to decide. It is a 2-horse cart.
Yeah.
It'll be up to you guys to decide who makes the sacrifice and what to do from here. While you guys are kind of gathering yourself, Baranor, I would like you to make a perception check as you're just kind of scanning the trail.
Okay. Perception.
Yep.
I'm gonna get my character sheet up. Hang on, give me a sec. Okay.
Ooh, perfect. Yeah. You're kind of keeping an eye on the woods, especially perceptive against the troll that managed to get away. And as you're kind of scanning the darkening woods, and it's pretty thick beyond the trail, you see something glinting in the distance, about maybe 20-25 feet away. On what looks like it's next to a large tree trunk somewhere in the woods beyond.
About how far would you say that is?
It's about 25 feet away from where you're standing. Yeah.
Okay. See something, squirrel. I see something shiny over there. I'm going to go check it out if someone wants to watch my back.
Yeah, I'll look after you.
All right. I'm going to go over and check it out.
Okay. You see your wolf, Luna, kind of digging at something, and what looks like the pommel of a kind of a rusty sword, but it's got some kind of a jewel on the pommel that has been able to withstand the test of time, just kind of jammed in the dirt just at the base of this tree. And Luna is digging at something right around where that thing is stuck in the dirt.
We got a sword over here, and after our last experiences with magical weapons that are lying around, I don't want to pick it up just yet.
Call Akir. He'll pick it up.
Yeah.
He'll even lick it.
He'll eat anything.
Yeah.
Yuno's gonna wander over and pull out his wand of identify and, tap it on the sword just to see if there's anything weird or kind of noteworthy that we should be aware of, or if Akir's going to be okay to lick this.
You tap it with your wand, and you feel the resonant pulse of magical detection energy waft over it, and there is no trace elements of magic on this pommel whatsoever. However, you see little dots of magical energy waft away from something about 3 or 4 inches under the dirt, right where Luna is digging. Like a bunch of little dots just kind of blink into existence and then blink away. Doesn't really give you an idea what it was, as you were not directing that energy towards the dirt. You were directing toward the sword. The sword seems completely inert, and now that you're there and you're pretty passively perceptive, it just looks like a very nice sapphire set into the pommel of this very, very rusty, decrepit-looking sword.
Okay.
It doesn't appear to be magical, to the best of my knowledge, or I can't figure out what the magic would do, if there is any.
All right, I'll grab the sword and just kind of put it in my bag or something.
You pull the sword out. You pull the sword out, and the guard and the handle break off the rusted blade, and now you've just got a very dingy, very old, rusty guard and handle. But the sapphire itself is pretty much pristine. I mean, it is a rock.
All right.
It's possible that where this sword is, there could be more loot buried. I do know that sometimes trolls do like to have a troll horde, kind of like a dragon.
Do we want to help Luna dig here a bit then?
Yeah,
well, why don't you make an athletics check for Luna, just to see if because she's been digging the whole time you guys are just sort of chatting.
Sure. Let's see here. I have her page somewhere. Oh, athletics.
Could I summon Chonky Boy and then turn myself into a wolf so that there's 3 dogs kind of digging the same spot?
Yeah. That would be easy enough to do. Chonky Boy apparates out of nowhere. He looks like he's been feasting on some sort of Fey cookies or cakes in whatever realm part of the Feywild he's from. He's particularly portly today, but he looks sprite and spry and ready to help, and just kind of looking around with a big open smiling mouth with his tongue draped over one side of his jaw and ready to go. Athletics. All right, so it's taken Luna some time. It seems like this dirt is pretty well packed. It's given her a little bit of trouble, but with Chunky Boy's help and Koza the Wolf's help, you guys kind of are able to get down to about 6 or 7 inches below the surface. And you find that Luna, in her feverish digging, throws what looks like a rib behind her. In just the action of her digging, it just kind of catches on a bone, a rib bone, and it tosses behind her really quick, and she just kind of stops short for a second, and looks up at you.
All right. Might be a body, most of a body buried down here with probably the sword's owner. Should we keep digging?
I would say probably a good idea.
How far down are we?
You're only about 6 or 7 inches.
Yeah.
I say we keep digging.
All right.
As you exhume more of the corpse, you notice that it is definitely humanoid, and the clothing has completely fallen away and rotted. It looks like it was just buried without a coffin or casket, just buried in the dirt. The belt on the side of its hip has mostly rotted away. It looks like there's some kind of remnants of leather strap, and some kind of scabbard of some kind that was mostly made of leather and wood that has sort of just kind of disintegrated over the years. And underneath the body, right almost as if it was wearing something on its back, you find a wrapped bundle of some kind. And when you open it, you find 10 gleaming arrows.
All right. I will take those.
And this is the source of the magic that you know first encountered. But although since he wasn't actually guiding his spell to these arrows, he can't tell you what they are without, unfortunately, another level of identification. So you can put 10 arrows with a question mark.
Okay.
And you can also add a 1d12 of inspiration, Bogey, as you won the meme contest.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you, man. And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you. The one that got me, that nobody topped, was that very, very first one way last week about the cow. That one got me.
Really, the cow was the one.
Cow, yeah.
I was trying to rate it on like who had the most smiley faces and stuff, and
Nope.
the cow.
Nope. That was all internal in my head.
Nice.
It's all subjective.
So congratulations. Thank you, everybody, for participating. That was a lot of fun to see all that.
I was hoping more people would have participated, but you know.
Hey, it was a duel
Everybody
between you
did.
and me most of the way.
Once again,
So yeah, you've got some...
Steph had some really good ones too.
She did.
It was a fun time. It definitely helped me pass the time, which was very, very cool.
All right.
So yeah, you've got 10 mystery arrows, and I don't know where you want to write that, but you definitely have a D12 of inspiration that you can use at your leisure.
Sure.
And that is all you find in the hole.
So while they've been doing this, I'm just kind of I'm just kind of assessing the stock in the wagon to make sure everything else is pretty much intact.
Okay. Make an investigation check. Everything seems to be in order. The cart wasn't too badly jostled in the fray, even though one or two of you jumped on top of it to try to better position yourself during the fight, and that doesn't seem to have disturbed anything. All of your supplies are still intact. Your food, your rations, your tents, your bedrolls, everything seems to be all there still. But you will have to hitch a new horse.
Yeah, and we got to decide that because we don't have that many horses. So any ideas about using the horse as bait to get the land shark? We're not going to have enough horses to get back home.
Good true.
Because we have Athir's pony, we have my horse, we have Yuno's horse, and Barry's horse that's already hitched to the wagon.
Yes.
Right.
Actually, I believe it's my horse that's connected to the wagon because it's.
I think there's two. There's two horses, right?
Yeah.
There were two.
Well, there was.
Oh, okay.
Now there's one. Koza's horse.
Okay.
Now there is one.
Got it. Okay.
So as far as the size of this wagon, I mean, kind of give us an idea on its size. How many of us can it accommodate, like right now in its current state?
Well, right now you're not carrying anything on it that is terribly heavy. You've got a crate of rations, like everything that you guys don't necessarily need on yourselves at right now. You've kind of stowed on the wagon, so it's got some rations, it's got some tent material, some bedrolls. It's pretty. You guys are traveling pretty light for the cart, so you guys could ride. At least 4 people in the cart if 2 horses were pulling it.
Okay. And then as far as the front portion there, how many people, is it just room for just the driver, or is there enough room for driver and shotgun?
No, there's it's a 2-horse cart, so there's a driver and a shotgun can ride, sure.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm still considered a medium creature, so, I mean, I'll go ahead and volunteer my horse to hitch up, and I'll ride shotgun with Barry. With Axton, rather.
So Axton and Sazros are up front. That leaves Koza without a horse, Baranor without a horse, and Maven without a horse. So the three of you could ride in the back without a problem.
All right.
Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
And then, we'll have
If
to
any
think.
of the wolves could be used as, like, for pulling capacity or not. I don't know if they could help out with the cart.
I mean,
Well,
Finally, that wolf
Luna's
pulled
not
the-
bad.
I
Luna's
believe
not that
Chunky
strong.
Boy's... Yeah, Luna's just a regular wolf.
Yeah.
Chunky Boy's only around for about an hour,
Yeah. Well, wait, hang on.
and then he
How long
and
does
then he
wild
disappears.
shape last?
Unless Koza decides to wild shape as a horse.
Your level.
Yeah, how long does that last?
Like half your level in hours.
I could say, I was going to say I could turn into a horse and have either Baranor or Maven, hitch a ride, but if it's only going to last like a certain amount of hours. Well, hang on, let me check the book.
Yeah, I'm looking it up too.
But I think as it stands right now, I think we're okay. We're,
Heard of forest, right?
yeah, we're
You can stay in a beast shape for a number of hours equal to half your druid level rounded down. So 3 hours. Yeah. And then you revert to your normal form. And you get... let's see here. You get beast... So right now you're level 6. So you get CR critical challenge rating beasts of half and below. You don't have any flying speed, but you could... Yeah, you could... I think you could be a crocodile. I don't even know if you could be a horse right now.
Yeah, I can turn into a riding horse.
Okay.
It's only a quarter challenge.
Yeah.
But I think for right now we're good. We just know that we really don't have any more horses to spare.
Right.
Okay.
And hauling the monster's head. I mean, I know this is a little bit meta, but it's a large creature, so it's not like we're trying to hoist a dragon skull onto the wagon.
Yeah, but
You don't know what kind of size it is.
True.
The ground dragon.
You know what a boulet's size is, and I don't even know if you would know that. I don't know.
I might know
if
it.
Sazros would know what it is.
I don't know if I ever did. I
think you failed both of your. I think you failed both of your history checks or nature checks or whatever.
That's why I prefaced it saying it was a little bit meta, but
Yeah.
So we know that.
No worries. I'm sure the wilds will provide.
Yeah, we're all right. And hey, we haven't found these potential allies too. Who knows?
Well, I have monstrosities as a favorite enemy, so I might know something about it.
Really?
Yes, really. Level 6.
Well, yeah, it would be your favorite enemy, that's for sure.
So I have advantage on survival checks to track your favorite enemies, as well as intelligence checks to recall information about them.
Oh, right on. Well, you know the boulet is a large monster, and you imagine its head is probably the size of the cart. So I would say Baranor definitely gets it in his head that you guys need to start thinking ahead of how are we going to transport this head if it's going to take up the whole cart, But you guys are on your second day of 7 that you're kind of on a timetable with, so
Yeah.
you definitely feel like you've got time to figure this out.
Yeah. Do we have enough time right now to take a short rest? Does anybody need a short rest right now?
I imagine a number of you are pretty hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not that hurt, but I could use it to get some of my abilities back.
I could definitely use a short rest.
I could for sure use a short
Yeah.
rest.
Well, you guys are all in the back of a wagon, so if you're not riding, I imagine you could short rest as we move, huh?
That'd be a DM question.
I would say as long as you do nothing, You do not read. You do not study. You do not make observations or ability checks of any kind. You just kind of sit quietly. Yes, I'll allow those of you sitting down to experience the benefits of a short rest, sure.
I'm going to be napping.
Napping and licking your wounds.
We should probably have the cart in the middle then, so that someone riding a horse that doesn't need to take a short rest can watch the back.
Mm-hmm.
So right now the two riders are Yuno and Atgeir.
Correct.
Unless Yuno needs to take a short rest and somebody else can ride his horse.
Well, Akir will keep an eye out for any enemies or whatnot.
I will also
kind of ride in the back.
I will remind everyone that some of you have magical items that you have not attuned to yet. That requires an hour of concentrating on it, which would I usually allow that to occur during a short rest. I don't have a problem with mixing those two.
That's Atgeir, right?
And you have the wind razor.
You have the arrows.
And
I haven't attuned that yet.
You have magic arrows too, yeah.
Well, I don't know what the arrows do yet, so I'm not.
Nope.
Do I have to attune to each arrow?
No.
that makes
Well, you don't know if you have to attune to them yet or not. They haven't been identified.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
but
take an
Atgeir has a
hour.
dagger. Atgeir's got a dagger. You've got a sword.
I forgot I hadn't attuned to the wind razor yet.
I think that's kind of it. As far as magic items for everybody.
All right.
Let's take an hour. We need to eat too because it's about midday. Let's take some rations. Let's get something to eat. Folks that need to get some hit points, let's do it. Those folks that need to attune or identify magical items, let's let them do it. And then we'll hit the crowd. Does that sound reasonable?
Oh yeah.
Who needs a healing?
Me.
All
Well,
right.
if we're taking a short rest, I can.
Yeah, if I take a short rest, I'll be fine.
Yeah. And while we take this short rest, I will play a nice, calming, soothing song of rest so that everybody else can get an additional D6 if they're using hit dice to regain hit points.
I am also going to give myself, Maven, and anyone else who needs it a additional D6 of healing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Through my
That's 2d6s we're adding to the healing.
Yeah, if you're using hit dice.
Okay.
We get the Song of Rest, and how do we get the other D6?
I think it's just whatever I roll you add to your health.
What skill is it that you're using? Or spell? Or
It's my... 1 second. Sorry, I had something in my throat. It's my druid subclass ability. It's called Balm of the Summer Court. It allows me to give a number of d6s equal to my druid level and give people that many hit points.
So you could roll 66.
Yeah.
That's incredible. That's huge.
And it's not that I can roll 66. It's almost like superiority die, where I have a certain number of them. And I can choose to expend them and give them out.
Gotcha.
Let's see. I'll roll the spent dice and add them together. So I'm going to use 2. Okay, so everyone who needs it gets 9 points of healing.
All right.
In Sazros, you're doling out some for Song of Rest.
that is correct. It's an additional D6 for anybody who's expending hit dice.
All right. So let's go ahead and have everybody heal up if you're going to heal up.
Yep.
Who is standing watch while you all just sort of camp out on the side of the trail.
Well, Luna can for sure.
Okay. Anybody else?
Yuno's not hurt, so
we'll have Luna sort of do a wide perimeter sweep all throughout the woods, and we'll have Yuno kind of keeping an eye out close by to the camp. So why don't we get a perception check from both of you?
Sure. Luna's okay. Oh yeah,
That'll work.
18 for Yuno.
perfect.
Let's see here. Oh, good. 22 and an 18, yeah. I mean, the woods are rather quiet. The local fauna has scampered away, being that you're not too far away from the scene of the battle with the trolls. There is no sign of the trolls, although Luna is able to pick up the escaped trolls' tracks. It just leads straight off into the woods. And she kind of follows the tracks for about maybe a quarter of a mile, just about to the point where she's lost sight of and lost hearing perception of the camp, and just kind of keeps an eye on that direction. And she's transmitting this information to you, Baranor, that she's got a bead on where it went, but she isn't really straying too far away. Just keeping an eye on that direction.
Akir, you want to go get your dagger?
Oh yeah.
Or is it not that important now that you have your other one?
You can never have too many daggers.
True.
Especially the way I aim.
Well, this dagger negates that a little bit, right?
In theory.
Comes back to you.
It's one of the few things in life that does.
Oof.
Yeah, Akira's gonna spend his time with his little bully dagger.
Yeah, you kind of toss it at a tree, and it sticks hard in the tree, and you're like, And you kind of walk up to it and pick it back up, pull it out, throw it at another tree, and it looks like it's the more time that goes by where you're kind of palming the now mind you, this is a rather short dagger. From pommel to tip of blade, it's probably only about 7 inches long. It's not a very big dagger. It's about half the size of your black steel daggers, one of which you'll note still has 3d6 of poison in it. But yeah, it's a rather small dagger with a swirling, kind of animated, kind of smoky look to the blade itself. Nothing wafting off the metal. It's all internal within the metal itself. But you notice that the longer you hold it, the more that smoke starts to kind of become a little more animated. It started out almost like swirling molasses, and now it's starting to actually look kind of smoky. And at one point, you throw it at a tree, and it looks like it's starting to disapparate and return to your hand. And then, after about an hour, that action is complete, and you throw it at a tree, and it just poofs right back into your hand, and you can consider yourself properly attuned to that dagger now.
Fantastic. Is it possible to throw it and recall it before it actually hits a target?
You notice that you throw it, and it seems to really come back to your hand once it hits something. Like you throw it intentionally missing a tree, and it feels like it's hit the ground, and then it returns. You imagine the only way to truly test that is to drop it into a ravine and see if you lose it or not.
Hey, let's not do that. Akira refrains from throwing the dagger at someone to try and scare them.
All right, Crown Collectors, your short rest is over. Those of you who wish to use hit dice may have done that, as well as adding your additional d6 for Sazros' Song of Rest. Baranor, were you intent on bonding with this new sword you have, or are you just kind of keeping it in your inventory?
I mean, that would take 2 short rests when, because I used hit dice to heal up.
No, I allow you I allow you to attune to something during a short rest, even if you're healing.
Okay, then yes, I will attune to the wind razor.
Okay, real quick, you pull the scimitar out from your pack, and it doesn't have a scabbard, so it's just something you'd probably shove in your belt or hold on to.
Yeah.
And you notice that this blade's metal is very, very shiny. It could be made of a high level kind of metal, and very light, easy to swing around. And you notice that the more time goes on during this hour of rest, the easier it is for you to swing it around, to the point where right around when you see Adgeir kind of practicing with his dagger and actually getting it to return to his hand, you're noticing that a swing from this thing takes about half the time that you imagined it would, and you're able to actually kind of pack 2 swings into one motion. And you can consider yourself tuned to the wind razor. Once per long rest, I think I gave you this info, but once per long rest, you're able to use to pack 2 attacks into 1 action.
Yes, indeed.
So everybody seems rested up. The rest of the last half of the day is yours. What would you guys like to do?
I would propose making up some time and pushing at a harder pace for the rest of the day.
Agreed. My pony is well rested.
So let's boogaloo.
So, the horses seem ready to go. The cart is packed up. Everybody seems settled in to their saddles or in their cart seats. I'm going to need a forward and rear perception check. So, who is going to be taking care of that?
I will.
Last half of the day.
Sure. Adgeir will be wherever is open.
Okay. So you guys are traveling at a fast pace. So I'm going to need a perception check, and you're going to apply a -5 to whatever score you guys get.
So
who's taking up
in the
front?
will be in the back, and my score minus the penalties is 13.
Okay.
All right, Adgeir, 24 minus 0, 19.
Okay.
For Attaboy.
So, you notice that you guys are starting to see more of your late or early evening sunlight through the trees. The trees are becoming a little more sparse. It's not as heavy and dense of a forest as you've been encountering over the last day or so. And finally, you find yourselves poking out of the edge of the woods into a very, very wide, sprawling meadow or plains. And there's what looks like 3 or 4 tributaries of a river kind of breaking up the landscape. That seem to be flowing in the direction that you're traveling, that all start to gather way downstream and form one river.
So would this match the description of the Forked Tongue River?
It would.
Okay.
Yeah, you seem to be going in the right place.
Yeah. So I informed the party that this must be the Forked Tongue River that was spoke of. So once we can ford across this river, then north is our direction. And it's evening time now.
It's early evening. You're getting to be about 5 or 6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
The sun is starting to get very low in the sky. It hasn't set quite yet.
Okay. Do you think we have sufficient light to try to cross this river now, or do we need to wait till morning?
I think we can do it. Perhaps one of us should cross first. Drag a rope across.
I'll say, Axton, you notice, to you it looks like the river is shallowest, right where the there are these wedges of land that break up the river where these tributaries kind of gather towards, and you imagine it's probably easiest to cross right where those wedges of land just before they end, before the river grows about to maybe 60 to 70 feet across after this delta, if you will, ends. Seems like that might be the best place, because then you're only dealing with 5 or 6, 5 or 6 of these 10-foot wide tributaries that feed into the main river.
Okay, I pointed out to the other people and guide the horses over that direction.
All right, so you guys are attempting to just travel as a group, or Atgeir mentioned something about going across solo with a rope. What's the plan?
Does anyone have a preference?
I mean, we could try like a rally system where if someone treks across, then another person goes to where they are, goes a little further, and then, we keep going until one of us makes it across the river, and then we all follow them. See what I'm saying? Does that not make sense?
Right, wouldn't that mean someone has to stay in the river for a while?
Okay, that's true.
Right.
Well, how deep is the river?
You don't know yet.
Can we tell? Okay.
Let's find out.
Shallower here than compared to other areas.
Because, I mean, if we figure out how deep it is and it's not too terribly deep, we can ferry people across with the cart, come back, ferry the rest of them across. But, I mean, everybody's on horse or cart, so it doesn't truly matter in that regard.
Would Yuno be willing to cross first, since he's the one with a full-grown horse?
Right, I would be willing to go first. I'll have a rope attached to me, and then, at the very least, I weigh a little bit less than a full horse. I'll just try and swim it. Tiny legs aren't that much of a detriment in the water.
All
Could
right.
you wild shape into something that could possibly go across?
I can't turn it
It's not an Atgeir's wheelhouse.
swims.
Oh, no, I mean, I was speaking to Koza. Yeah.
I can't wild shape in anything that swims.
Oh, all right, okay.
Well, if there's any type of magic that could possibly slow the speed of the water or help us cross here, I'm not sure.
Like a water walk or something.
Or something even to mold earth, or I don't know, maybe make land or ice. I'm not sure. Or we could always try to Dukes of Hazzard this and just.
Them dudes are in trouble now.
Oh, I do have water walk. Hang on, let me see how many people I can cast it on.
That'll get you across, but it won't help us to know how deep the river is.
Yeah.
Does anybody have a large stick?
Use Maven's quarterstaff, or
Trying to test how deep it is.
test the depth using the quarterstaff, or Axton's halberd.
This is a point of reference. I can cast water walk on everybody. There's up to 10 willing creatures.
Now,
What about
horses?
horses?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the horses.
Yuno is going to reach in his bag of holding. He's going to pull out 50 foot of rope. He's going to find kind of like a decent sized rock, cast light on it, tie it to the end of the rope, and chuck it.
Right.
Seeing as you're... Yeah, give me a survival check there, on whether or not your knot is going to hold up. Because you do find a decent-sized rock about the size of a melon. Seems heavy enough.
I will help
That
him
is-
with this.
Okay, so
You can roll with advantage.
Roll with advantage.
As you're kind
so
of pointing pointing out whether or not his
17
granny knot is
or
going to work.
24.
Yeah, you can take the 24. It's with advantage. As Sazros is just kind of giving you a pointer over your shoulder, like, maybe lash that here, maybe wrap it around one more time. You guys get a good, nice granny knot on this rock. It lights up, and the first tributary that you come across, you kind of toss it into the water, and it looks like it skips right across it, about maybe a foot under the surface. And I'll say you guys can give me an animal handling check. You can do it with advantage, being as this seems like it's a pretty well-involved team effort to get the cart and the horses across the first 5-foot width of this delta.
Okay. Does Axton need to make that roll? Okay.
Whoever's driving the cart.
Oh, I'm in the back of the cart. Never mind.
Yeah, that would be Axton.
My bad.
And you said with advantage?
Yeah, because you guys are all just kind of coaxing the creatures along, and everybody seems to be... okay, 22. You guys make it across the first tributary, no problem at all. And if you guys want to we can speed this along. If you want to just give me a general idea on your plan throughout the entire journey across this river, we can pick it up.
I think probably just kind of a lather, rinse, repeat of what we're doing, trying to cross each individual tributary using the rock to find the depth.
So the second tributary is a little deeper. It looks like it's about maybe 1.5 to 2 feet deep. So I need somebody to roll a D10 for me. Anyone? 6, perfect. Okay, you're able to get the cart across. It doesn't get stuck in any rocks. With another kind of a swinging this rock and rope set up across into the next tributary. It seems like it's a little deeper still. It's about 3 feet deep. I need and if you guys want to go ahead and roll another D10. 7, yeah, you guys are able to get this one across too. I'm going to need another animal handling check with advantage from Axton, as you are now in the middle of the delta. 17, good enough. You guys are kind of working your groove. You're all just kind of heave ho, getting these animals across, and they seem to be listening to you. You don't perceive any danger around you. With your rinse and repeat method of getting the horses across, you notice that the second 2 tributaries, and 5 in total, the last 2 seem to be decreasing in depth as the first 2 were increasing. So it seems like the middle was the deepest. And you eventually get your horse, your cart, all your horses across onto dry land.
Woo!
Yep.
Yay, team.
All right. Well done. So who is on a horse out front?
Atgeir, I believe.
Atgeir, I need you to make a perception check for me, please. Just to get off your horse. You guys are all able to kind of traverse this watery obstacle without dismounting. Axton on the cart, however, kind of looks in the distance along the river, on this side of the river that you're on. And Atgeir also notices something in the distance. You can hear the distant rushing of water over rocks and earth. And just above the sound of what could be the narrow river, you hear a strange squeaking, a panicked, high-pitched growling of something in distress.
I guess we should go take a look.
Does that rock still have light on it?
It does. I believe light lasts for at least an hour, right, Ken?
I think so.
So I mean,
Yeah,
you've
up
got
to
a
an
light.
hour. I can cancel it at any time, but
Yeah, this whole ordeal only took you about 10 minutes.
So, I mean, if you don't want to carry a torch, you can use the rock as a light source, or we can keep it here. Your choice.
Well, what's next?
Well, the sound that I heard and Atgear heard, does it sound familiar? Like, do we know what type of creature or what possibly made this noise?
It's too small to be a deer or other woodland beast. It sounded small and rather panicked.
Agir's gonna look over at Axton and just sort of kind of expect Axton to go out and investigate this. And Agir's just gonna go, "Right, I'll let the group know you want off."
Yeah, I'll take off. I'll walk over there.
Yeah, Agir's gonna go inform the rest of the group. And then
so you all notice Axton just kind of jump off the cart, grab his gear, and walk away.
I'll go with him with Luna as well.
Okay.
We'll make camp.
Okay. So everybody but Axton and I think Atgear, are you going with him or are you sticking around?
Nope, I'll stick around just in case this is all a big distraction.
So Axton and Baranor, the yelping increases as you round a large boulder and find what appears to be a small, brightly colored humanoid with three-toed webbed feet, yellow and red splotchy skin, large black eyes, and a frog-like face. The creature's foot appears to be trapped under a newly fallen rock, and its dull color might suggest a break. Catching sight of your small group approaching, the creature bares its tiny, nubby-like teeth and reaches for a nearby sharpened stick adorned in feathers and beads. Unable to reach it, you watch as it curses and a long, pink, sticky tongue darts from its mouth and retrieves the tiny spear, only the size of an arrow. You notice the creature's arms and torso are covered in various tattoo-like characters of rough and rudimentary design. And its little leg, still trapped under a rock no bigger than a piece of fruit, it struggles to scoot back away from you. To no avail. It is stuck. And it's just... its big eyes are looking at both of you approach.
Try to walk up to it calmly. Do you speak? Is there a language that you understand? I'm not here to harm you.
You notice that the creature doesn't seem to be reacting to what you're saying, but the closer you get, the more it starts kind of jabbing in the air at your approaching feet with its small little tiny spear. Which you imagine, being that you're wearing full plate armor, that thing would snap if it were to make contact with your greaves.
Okay, well, I'll try to, I don't know, lift one of the rocks that's keeping it pinned.
Yeah, easy enough to do. I mean, to you, it's nothing. To this little creature, it's a life-threatening situation. The creature shrieks as the small boulder is lifted and tries to scramble to its feet, but it collapses, yelping in pain, holding its spear at you, keeping a few feet of distance between you. For a creature so small, it sure seems ready to fight to the death to defend itself. Doesn't seem to be able to get away.
Oh, you said it can't get away?
Yeah, it looks like it tried to scamper off and it collapsed underneath the its leg kind of collapsed under the weight of its body, and it doesn't seem to be able to get away without an incredible amount of pain. And it's just sort of leaning on one of its elbows and holding its little spear shakily at you.
Well, I'm not sure what to do. He wants to get away from us. I guess we'll just leave him. Walk away.
Okay.
I'll give him one last look, and if he still threatens with the spear, I'll walk away as well.
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be threatening you. He's just kind of holding it and looking at both of you, these large creatures, and you see him his hand kind of goes for his ankle, and he just kind of winces in pain once again.
I will. Okay. I will approach cautiously, trying to hands up in a non-threatening manner, and kind of reach for the ankle as well, and cast Cure Wounds.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check first.
All right. This is mine. Okay, this is mine. My persuasion's not that good. Nope.
Yeah, he doesn't seem too interested in what you're doing, but what's the range on Cure Wounds? It's touch. Yeah, he kind of jabs at your hand with his spear as you try to touch him.
All right. Do I need to dodge it or just? Yeah, I'll keep going for the. It's like hey. And
okay, you wanna grapple with him? Go ahead and make a strength check.
I'm not trying to grapple with him. I'm just trying to just touch the ankle or the calf or whatever.
Let's say make an acrobatics check to try to do this without getting hit by his spear. Mind you, he did kind of hit your hand with his spear. It didn't hurt. It's a pokey little stick.
Okay.
Yeah, you managed to make contact with the skin of his ankle.
Mm-hmm.
The healing magic glitters and trails off your fingers and settles into the frog creature's leg, seeping into its brightly colored skin until the bones in its foot crack and straighten and the color once again returns. The creature winces a bit, but soon breathes a sigh of relief as the magic takes effect and it begins to kind of rotate its ankle, its injury no longer hindering its movement. With a leap upright, the frog rights itself and nervously clutches its spear, but this time with a little less aggression, in place of general caution. Blinking a few times and looking at both of your faces, the creature burps or gurgles some semblance of language at you, accompanied with some sort of hand signals. And you see it just kind of it seems to be giving you a slight bow and its hand on his chest, and you see him kind of stick his spear in the dirt next to him in a non-threatening manner, and he kind of just looks at both of you and reaches into a little pouch and produces some kind of powdery shredded jerky of some kind and just kind of offers it to you.
I will return his gesture, the hand on the chest and bow, and accepts the jerky.
Okay. He just kind of watches you and puts his fingers to his mouth a couple times.
I'll try a bite.
It's not good. It's not very good. It's very dry. It feels like it's been seasoned with some kind of ground spice of some kind. It's very earthy. It does taste like it was meat at one point, but it's just been shredded into this kind of spongy, mossy kind of material, and I mean it tastes like edible food. It doesn't taste like you're being poisoned, but it's just not very appetizing at all. And he just kind of hops up and down a couple times and sort of darts between you towards the river, and then looks back at you and kind of waves his hand at you.
Like waving in a come here gesture, or just waving goodbye gesture?
He's kind of beckoning you towards him.
And he's leading us further away from the group, I'm guessing?
Yes.
Right.
In the direction that you were going, however.
I'll look at Axton. I'm like, what do you want to do?
It couldn't hurt. He's pretty harmless by the looks of it.
Yeah, one is harmless. Many, though.
We'll see. Might as well.
All right.
Okay. So he seems to be kind of waiting for you along the flow of the river, as you can either follow him or head back to the group.
I will follow.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. You guys are out of sight of the group right now, just so you know.
Cool. I'll light a torch though, so I can see.
Okay. As the sun begins to dip, the small little creature is kind of hopping along, and he kind of leads you off the trail of the river and up a hill. and for about maybe 5 or 6 minutes of hiking until you see maybe 100 feet away this structure.
Okay.
Some sort of tall rock.
The stone phallus of the ancients.
And you both can go ahead and make a history check as he seems to be leading you towards it.
Sure.
I doubt that I'm going to know this where I was sleeping for so many years.
Nope, I don't know it either.
But not an advantage, but 22.
Okay, you were paying attention to, and Baranor, you were paying attention too, but you were kind of more focused on the pelts and furs that the half-orc had in his inventory. But Axton, as you were standing there while Sazaros was speaking to the tanner out just before the outside gates of Dane as you left, you do remember him talking about a landmark that you'd be wanting to look out for, which was a towering spire of stone adorned in tribal inscriptions. And this seems to bear some semblance of that.
Oh.
I don't know if there's any way that we could indicate or notify our pals back at the carriage or wagon.
The little guy is just kind of pointing up towards the stone and just kind of standing there waiting for you.
I'll keep following.
Okay, but we are getting pretty far away from the group. And you're saying this is where they said that we might be headed toward?
Mm-hmm.
True. That's true.
I don't know how much further we want to go tonight.
That is true. So maybe we'll hold off and go back towards the group and
Yeah.
try to...
I'll get the creature's attention and give him another little bow, and then motion that we're going back toward back the way we came, and do like a little, I don't know, universal sign for sleeping.
Okay. He kind of looks at you. He cocks his head to the right, and kind of looks back at the stone spire. Looks back at you and kind of shrugs and gives you another bow with a hand on his chest and toddles off towards the spire.
All right. Seems friendly, but we don't need to be dealing with this right now. We need to have a good rest tonight before pressing on, I think.
That's true.
All right, so we'll head back.
Okay. Only takes you about 5 or 10 minutes. Sazaros, everybody else, notice that Axton and Baranor are returning from their little trek into the wilderness.
I'll mark some trees on our way back so that way I can see if I can find our way back.
Go ahead and make a survival check, Axton. Yeah, easy enough. You kind of, grab some of the sticks and just kind of spear them into the ground at odd angles that definitely seem unnatural. Plus you're kind of looking around. You get the lay of the land. This place is not terribly dense with bushes and shrubs. It's pretty sprawling and flat and featureless. So, you imagine it probably wouldn't take you long to find your way back here.
Mm-hmm. Well, when we get back to camp, we'll let everybody know what me and Baranor have found.
Oh my goodness! Awesome.
Yeah, we didn't want to go any further in case this was where our destination was. Just the two of us,
I'm honestly impressed you didn't start the conversation by throwing a javelin at it.
Not going to say that. The thought didn't cross my mind.
Kill everything right away.
Throw a javelin at Atkir. Just kidding.
Atkir, you sure you don't need the Wind Razor back?
It seems like it suits you better.
Yeah. Sounds like your old habits, just now.
So, are we resting up for the night then and then headed out, or should we scout ahead? Is this little creature possibly the same tribe that we were supposed to contact?
I do not know, but it might be best for us to take a rest here and find out in the morning.
Yeah, that was my thought as well. I'm sure a lot of us are spent on spells and stuff.
Well, if that's what you want to do, I am not going to complain about having a few extra hours of shut-eye.
Since it looks like this is where we're hunkering down, Nuno's going to cast Tiny Hut.
Okay. The earth around you is a kind of a pinkish tan clay material, and it wouldn't be difficult for you to replicate that color at all. Baranor, make a perception check, as it seems like everyone's settling down. It's dusk at this point. The sun is starting to set over the hills in the distance.
Nope.
Alright, you don't see any physical animals, but you do see a couple tracks of what look like maybe small creatures, maybe like rabbits or muskrats of some kind. You don't see any outright, but you do see a couple tracks, and you're noticing that all of your ration stores are starting to get pretty thin. As a matter of fact, this meal kind of constitutes the last of everybody getting a share of rations that aren't like trail nuts and stuff.
Well, I still have some rations, and I have some mushrooms that we could eat. Or I could actually help Baranor try to find some game.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and give me a survival check, both of you. Natural 20.
Oof.
Okay, yeah, the two of you kind of working together on your hands and knees, kind of looking down the hill of these tracks. You find what looks like a small rodent-like creature sticking its head out of a hole about 60, 70 feet away.
How small are we talking?
From this distance, it looks like it's about the size of a large rabbit, but it doesn't have like long ears. It looks like some kind of a groundhog or woodchuck of some kind like that. It's just kind of sticking its head out of a hole. And then you see another sticking out of another hole about 5 feet away. And then they kind of dip their heads in and out, and then you see another one about 15 feet away. So it looks like there's a very small community of these creatures. And it's about 60, 70 feet from your camp.
All right.
How about you shoot a couple arrows and I'll throw a javelin?
That's what I was thinking as well.
All right. I'll allow you both to fire off one attack each at the same time. That's a hit. That's a hit.
All right.
Yeah, Axton, you get one right through the neck. The javelin impacts on the sand behind it. It lies motionless. Same thing with Baranor. You're able to catch one in the side of the head, and it lies motionless. The third creature has disappeared into the hole it was in, however.
Luna's going to go over and stick her snout in. I don't think she'll get to it, but she's very curious about it.
Okay. Go ahead and make a survival check for
Luna.
Either that or a perception check.
Perception's probably better.
Nice.
Ooh.
Yeah, she's perceptive.
Okay. So, she is able to stick her nose in, and it seems like that... see, now you're not able to get like a view of what she sees, but you're kind of reading her emotions, and she has something in her mouth. She's got that. She's transmitting the idea of I got it. And it looks like maybe this was like a new tunnel that was being dug and perhaps wasn't very deep, and she pulls out a screaming, kicking little muskrat creature in her jaws, and she just kind of wrestles it to the ground and twists her head left and right and shakes it, and it stops moving, and it lies limp in her mouth. And the three of you now have three... I mean, they're about the size of like a small lapdog, but they're much fatter. They're like they got some meat on their bones, and you guys have three of them.
This should be a nice meal.
Nice. How many of the holes are there exactly?
Now that you're here and inspecting, it looks like a little community of them. It looks like there's maybe like 10 of them, 10 holes. You don't see any activity, and Luna is not and is not savvy on any of them in a similar unfortunate situation that she found her prey in. Just seems to be kind of quiet right now.
All right, I'm going to place a hunting trap near one of the holes that we have not encountered something coming out of yet.
Give me another survival check.
Sure.
I'll assist you with this to give you advantage.
All right.
Yeah, I mean, you pick a hole that you haven't really interacted with, and you kind of jam a stick in the ground, and you run a loop of small rope with what looks like some trail nuts that are in your pack as kind of bait, and just kind of leave this loop trap right in front of that hole, and it seems very well secure.
All right, we'll go check this in the morning, and take our 3 rodent things back to the camp.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're packing them in your little pack, go ahead and make a nature check. It can be either of you two.
Do you want to do one with advantage, or?
Well, you probably have a higher nature than me.
Sure. 30-20.
Ooh, yeah, you recognize these as koipus.
Okay.
They're small. They look kind of like they're smaller than a beaver, but they have a very beaver-like muskrat face. They have a thin, naked tail instead of a long, flat tail, and they just essentially look like large, small-eared rats. And they seem like they'd make a good meal.
All right, let's bring them back to camp and get them fired up.
Yeah. You make your way back. Doesn't take long. Everybody else, you notice the 2 of them return with some animals in hand. Go ahead and make whoever's going to prepare the meat, make a survival check on those guys.
I can prepare the meat, I suppose. I do have cooking utensils as well, which I am proficient with.
Okay.
Good.
So survival?
Hey, Koza, how about some good berries?
Yeah, I can do that.
Not very
I
good
summon about 7-ish berries to go along with the rats.
Well, they're not rats. It's a different animal entirely. But I guess you looking at them, being a druid, you kind of lump everything together in a way, and yeah, but they're like muskrats. They're like thin-tailed beavers almost.
Okay.
But with a survival of 9, I'd say that you guys are able to get enough rations for everybody to have some meat, but you're unable to really get anything extra. So you're at least able to feed yourself today. And that with the good berry, you all are able to heal up 1 point before worrying about your long rest. But the skies start to darken, the stars come out. It's a cloudless night, so the sky is wide and open above you, and the stars begin to become very brilliant and glittering as the night draws on and the fire starts to die down. You can all feel yourselves longing for sleep as the night enters the twilight phase.
After we're all done eating.
Is there anything anybody would like to have done before taking a rest? You guys had about 6 hours before you guys started, or maybe 4 hours before you started to get really tired.
I'm going to put that towards reading about drinking.
Okay.
After we're all done eating, before we take a rest, I'd like to just sit down and start praying to the Moonweaver.
Praying to the Moonweaver, got it.
I'll read
You take...
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to read some more of my potion making book.
All right, I'll give you 3 hours because you spent an hour hunting.
Thanks.
I will also take 3 hours if that's for mine.
Right on. Yeah, anybody who's got a book that wants to read, you can get 4 hours in, unless you were hunting, and then you can take 3.
I'll take 4.
Okay. The the air starts to become damp, and as dew starts to set in, the night grows late. You all feel quite calm and peaceful in this setting. It's nice to not be sleeping in wet muck. It's nice to be able to enjoy the landscape around you as the sky blackens above you. And as everyone starts to drift off to sleep, Koza remains kind of sitting crisscross applesauce on the edge of the hut, and just his hands in his lap, continuing to pray. And you sit there, Koza, for what feels like a couple hours, just trying to commune with your chosen deity, the Moonweaver. And after about an hour and a half, you feel yourself kind of drifting off to sleep in that seated position. And with your eyes closed, you feel a light shine on your face, dim and a light blue, but enough to make you kind of flutter your eyes open a bit. And you see what looks like in the sky that wasn't there before, a crescent moon with the tips of the crescent pointed upward. It looks like the moon of this world, or at least one of them. But it definitely doesn't look like it did a couple hours ago. It's in the wrong part of the sky. It's a pale blue color, and it's crescent now, whereas before it was almost full. And at the edge of the river, you see a glowing figure of some kind, with the similar pale blue glow emanating from their whole person, almost like an aura. What would you like to do?
Just stare at it, and
Can't hear you.
I stare at it, and try to work out the words. I try to get them out of my mouth. I try to say, like, I just look at it and I say, please, just let them be alive. Let all of this be for nothing.
The figure looks like it spins towards you. And at this point, you get a better look at it, and it looks like they're about 30, 40 feet away over towards the river. And they just kind of turn and look at you, and you notice that they have white shining eyes, no pupils, just pure white eyes, and they look at you, and they kind of lean their head away from you as a way to say, come on over.
I walk into the river.
As you get closer, you notice this figure is wearing a long silvery robe with kind of dark blue skin that is radiant, and a very pale, radiant light emanating from their skin. Their ears are pointed and upright. They have kind of a shock of white, silvery mohawk hair that kind of trails from the middle of their forehead all the way down to the back of their neck. Very elven looking, possibly drow. But their skin radiating this light is nothing like you've ever seen before. And they just kind of look at you with these solid white eyes, and they put a hand, they reach out, and you notice as they reach out that this person is taller than you are, and you're very tall. And they reach out and touch your hand, and there is a cool breeze that accompanies their touch. And you notice that the moon above is growing in size, and the dim light is starting to brighten just slightly. And wordlessly, you hear a voice in your mind, and it is deep and feminine and comforting. And you just hear a short response to your question of, one still lives.
Do I know? I have so many questions. Where are they?
This figure just sort of looks at you. And now that you're kind of really involved in this conversation, you notice they're not wearing a robe. That these are silvery folded wings. Huge. If they were extended, they would be 20 feet long. Folded across their shoulders. The feathers kind of overlapping, looking like folded silk of silver. And the figure looks away into the distance behind you. And another word enters your mind. East. They are east. You've been there before.
Well, I recognize them.
And they don't say anything. They just kind of raise an eyebrow as if to say, recognize who?
My daughter. I recognize my daughter.
They kind of drop their head a bit and then return your look, your gaze. I don't know, but they will recognize you. And with Sehanin's help, you will free her once again. And this figure lifts its hand off of your open palm where it had its hand, and you see a medallion. And it is in the same shape of the moon, and you go to look at the comparison, and you notice that moon is gone. And you're holding a symbol of the Moonweaver in your hand. And as you go to look up at the figure again, you just see a pair of floating white eyes surrounded by a light blue fog. And they seem to be drifting away from you. And you just hear the words, serve her. Serve her well. And you will be reunited once again.
I just clutch the medallion in my hand and put it up to my heart. I just look up at the figure and I just say, thank you. You've given me hope.
She
I go back to bed.
has given you hope. She gives us all hope. Those who love and those who seek our love. She gives us hope, hope, hope. And the figure, the little cloud just sort of dissipates into nothing. And you find yourself alone at the bank of the river.
I'll just sit there for a moment, looking out at the water. And after about 5 minutes, I'll go back to the camp and go to sleep.
Sleep finds you easily, as it does the rest of you. Dreamless at first, but soon muddled with images of what has transpired over the last few weeks. A dragon in wait, a swamp in need of redemption, a creature that you are pursuing, a contest that you're eagerly awaiting, and not least of all, a price on all of your heads that you are desperate to alleviate. All these thoughts, all these images kind of flutter through your minds as the warm orange glow of the sunrise beyond touches and tickles each of your faces, awake to a warm and dry morning.
Well, that was a good rest.
Yeah, you guys can all reset your spell slots, your hit points, your features and abilities. if you wish, or not. You could
definitely
take it on the chin if you really want to.
Yeah, we ain't doing that.
That's a bad idea.
Well, alrighty then. Let's make sure we break camp and get everything secured.
I believe Barry Nor was going to check his trap before we left.
Yes, I was just about to say that. I was going to go.
Eno's going to cast Alarm as a ritual to re-up his ward.
Right on. Yeah. Your ward is activated as you feel that energy sort of surround your body, a buffer, if you will, between you and any encroaching physical damage. Baranor, you scamper off a little down the hill to check your trap and notice that indeed you have caught and strangled another one of these creatures. It's a little smaller than before, than the other three. Perhaps it's a young one. It's about, I don't know, size of a cat, perhaps.
As I approach, do I see any popping their heads out of the holes?
Make a perception check.
Dirty 20.
Nope. You don't see any other ones in the area.
All right.
You do see several sets of tracks leading in and out of some of the holes. Why don't you go ahead and make another survival check, just because it's fun. All right, as you approach quietly, you are a ranger. You are used to approaching prey quietly. You're keeping your body low. You're noticing that there are tracks darting out of the holes into a sort of downhill sloping area covered in small shrubs and brush. You do see one of these creatures scampering around about 50 feet away, and they don't seem to see you.
Oh, I will ready my bow and take a shot at it.
Go for it. Yeah, that hits. Go ahead and roll damage. You're not going to need much. Oh, yeah. You pierce it. You get a nice clean kill straight through the abdomen into its heart. And instant death. Doesn't even seem to be kicking at all. So now you can go ahead and either sit and prepare while everyone readies camp. You can prepare this meat, or stuff the bodies into a sack of some kind. It's up to you.
I'll put it. Do we have enough food for like a quick breakfast, or would this be? I don't know how much food we have as a group right now. I'll stuff in my pack for now and take it back to camp.
Okay. Yeah, you see everybody just sort of milling around a low burning fire in the camp as the other members of your party seem to be kind of, getting dressed and maybe washing up in the river, nearby river. They see you kind of return.
I got some meat here from two of those creatures that we had last night. Anyone want breakfast of that, or is everyone good? We can save that for a little later time.
Well, I think we could save it for another time.
That's a good berry, so.
What's that?
I said, he did give us a good berry yesterday evening, but those effects have probably passed.
Up to you guys. We can save them for maybe later tonight.
Yeah, like some emergency rations or something. Yeah, that'd be great.
Sure. I don't know how long they'll keep for, but
we could always try to dry them later and make jerky or something.
The berries, the effects of the berry last 1 day, so I call that 24 hours.
Okay.
So you guys are full up until at least the next evening.
So we're pretty good right now.
Mm-hmm.
We put them in the bag of holding. Do they kind of like have a stasis to them?
No. Things rot in bags of holding.
Okay.
You could commission a bag of colding, which is a kind of a
we can't do that here.
Portable refrigerator, but That would be a different endeavor.
Yes.
We have to inquire to Lord Frigid Air.
No.
Yeah.
I think they should be here for. They should be good for today at least.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, camp seems to be packed up. The horses have been fed. You guys are probably going to want to source some feed for them, at least on your next trip, or at least on your return trip back. You're getting a little low on provisions for your horses. But for now, they seem rested, fed, and camp seems packed up. And the day is yours.
Let's go meet your new friends.
Yeah, Axton and I will, or at least Axton, you want to come lead the party back to the trail you left?
Yeah, sure, I can help out. I point in the direction.
Axton, go ahead and make it. Yeah, go ahead and make a survival check with advantage as you kind of retrace your steps from the day before.
Not great. 12.
Not great, not terrible. Kind of takes you a minute. It seems maybe there was some wind in the night, and a couple of your stick signs have blown over, but you're not going to fail. I mean, it's not that far away. There's rocks that you remember. It's just taking you a kind of a little longer to remember which landmark led to the next.
Kind of like a Bugs Bunny trail. I just go like up and down throughout the map to get to where the destination I'm going to.
Yeah, exactly. It takes you about an hour to really find your way back. And then once you kind of get on the hill that you remember this stone spire being on, you hike about 5 or 6 minutes uphill, and just over the crest, again, you see the tall outcropping of rock covered in tribal markings that the small creature had led you to the day before.
Well, all right then. Lead on, ambassadors.
Do we see the any sign of the creature that we saw last night?
Well, you're about 100 feet away from it.
Okay.
And you don't see anything outwardly from this location.
All right. I'll keep moving towards it then, everybody.
All right.
When we left him, he was headed toward toward that structure right there.
Yes. That is correct.
Oh, I was just informing the rest of the party.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
You guys get about maybe 30 to 40 feet away, and if you look at that picture, you notice there's a small hole at the base with what look like a lot of footsteps and footprints and worn stone in front of it that lead down the hill towards you. At this moment, Axton, you feel a presence all around you.
I sense that we're being watched.
You hear what sounds like skittering around you, and then suddenly all of you can hear what sounds like a almost melodic, but mostly erratic thumping or thrumming or drumming. And I need, Sazaros, are you on a horse?
No.
Okay, I need everybody in the cart. Sazaros, Maven, Baranor, and Koza. All of you to make dexterity saving throws, as well as, let's say Yuno. I want Yuno to make one as well. Ekir seems to be kind of moving a little quick.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
16 for Yuno.
All right. Maven got a 14.
Alright, did I need a dex check as well?
Yes, you do. You're driving the cart.
Oh, 7.
All right, so Noah, Sazaros, and Axton. You are all pelted with small, like 6-inch little tiny arrows with very rough feathers. And the one against Koza, that's a 19 to hit.
Yep.
Okay, you take 1 point of piercing damage as this little arrow just kind of hits you right in the shoulder. Sazaros and Axton, these little arrows just bounce right off of your silver scales, and your armor just kind of dink, and you all start to see these little tiny arrows flying through the air. And after a volley of them, you kind of lurch the caravan to a halt and ready yourselves. And you start to see these little creatures all popping up from behind rocks and shrubs. And what you see are these little dudes.
So cute.
They appear to be about 2 to 3 feet tall. They do vary in size. They do vary in color. And you hear kind of a chant erupting from them, and they're kind of holding these spears. Some of the spears look pretty harmless, kind of like pointed sticks. Axton and Baranor, you will recognize these weapons. Some of them, however, the little creatures kind of are adorned in like what looks like bone and wood armor, heavy beads, and they're holding kind of like pikes that look like they could definitely stab flesh without a problem. They are small, but they look a little more formidable than what some of the other little warriors are carrying. And they all start to surround your caravan, and there looks like to be about maybe 30 or 40 of them. And they're keeping their distance, but they're also kind of advancing on you a little bit. What do you all wish to do?
Do we see the one that we saw last night?
Make a perception check.
All right.
17. Not in this group, no. And at this point, you're about 20 feet away from the entrance to the structure, and you're seeing more and more start to pile out of this hole, all brandishing weapons. At this point, I now need everybody to make another dex save.
Oh boy.
All right. Koza, that's a
for you know.
hit.
So what to hit?
Right. That's an 8 to hit, so that does not hit. Axton, that's a 4 plus 2 to hit is 6. That does not hit you. Atgear, that is a natural 20 plus 2 is 22 to hit. You take 1 point of piercing damage as one of these little arrows just sails through the air, and you guys are kind of getting pelted, and some of them are hitting you, some of them are not. Some of them are like bouncing off. It seems relatively harmless for the most part, but one of them kind of sticks in your neck, Atgear, and you're just kind of like, God.
The drumming and the rhythm, can I make any sense of it? Is this kind of like a war chant, general alert?
Make a what kind of check would that be? Make a history check.
Bad at these, but not today.
Yeah, it definitely has some kind of motivational aspect to it. It doesn't feel like something that a tribe would play in like the background. It feels like something to get the group interested in something, or to gather everyone and organize and to do something specific. You're not sure if it's to make war or to dance and celebrate, but it's definitely not something that is casual.
Okay. I start trying to pick out the rhythm and generate a tune out of it.
Cool. Make a performance check. Yeah, you start plucking along with the rhythm of this drum, and at first it's a little spotty as you're trying to find the rhythm. Mind you, this is not a well-organized band. This is a bunch of little frogmen kind of beating on what look like small drums with stretched leather over them. And as you're kind of accompanying these musicians, which mind you are spread out and scattered throughout these little frog people, the arrows stop flying, and as you kind of are you staying up on the cart or are you descending?
I'm staying where I am right now.
Okay. You notice that the little frog guys kind of look at each other and look at you, and at this point you see a commotion up towards the front of the spire, and you see a little red and yellow mottled frogman that Axton and Baranor would recognize, kind of push his way through the crowd, and you hear and they're all kind of jamming their little spears in your direction, and kind of the horses are starting to get spooked. They're getting a little closer. They're starting to nip at the heels of the horses. One of the horses that's holding the cart starts to rear and rise in the air, and that causes the little frogman to kind of scatter backwards a little bit. But as soon as this little red and yellow creature approaches the forefront, you see him kind of like put his hands out and talking to his fellow creatures and pointing up at Axton and Baranor and pointing at his leg, and after about a minute of explaining, you notice the tension starts to subside of the group, and they all just kind of look at you and look at your cart, and a couple of them kind of hop up on the side of the cart, and their little webbed fingers just sort of drape over the side, and they're just sort of looking at all of you, and they're starting to get a little closer. A couple of them kind of pick at the box that you've got that's got some of your rations and sniffing it and getting a little idea on what's in there, and you start to notice a number of them kind of drift away and filter back into the hole, but there's still a good 20 or 30 of these creatures that are just kind of keeping their themselves at the ready, and they don't seem to trust you, but they're not acting aggressively anymore. And the little creature just kind of waddles up to Baranor and Axton, and just kind of puts his hand on his chest and gives a little bow again.
I will return the bow, and I don't know, one of the creatures that we hadn't encountered before, I'll offer some of the same jerky that the creature gave me the night prior.
Yeah, you approach a green-skinned frog-like creature who has like a heavy headdress of feathers and beads that kind of dangle from either side of his head. Lots of these beaded necklaces and small bones made of maybe rats or squirrels of some kind. Bracelets of similar make and kind of a long loincloth that looks like it was made of like leaves of some kind, clutching what looks like a large scepter or stick with similar beans and bones dangling from it. He just kind of listens to what the familiar frog creature is saying, and then looks up at you and kind of sniffs the ration, takes it, and kind of downs it all in one, and kind of gives sort of a nod of recognition, and kind of looks up at you and goes, "You big folk."
Oh, in common?
In common. Broken okay. Common, but in common.
Okay. I was about to ask, if he knew tongues or not. But that solves it.
You. No, one of Eno's talents.
Oh, okay.
And then he kind of like, he can hear you guys kind of talking to each other, and he just sort of like taps the familiar red and yellow creature on the head, and you see a glow of his eyes, like deep within his eyes glow kind of a deep blue, and this energy sort of transfers over to the little red and yellow, and you see that similar glow in his eyes, and the little red and yellow one kind of looks up and he goes, "You big folk, you help geek, you help leg."
Hello, geek. Yes, we help.
You must come inside. We have special gift for those who help our tribe. You help Geek, we help you.
I'll look at the rest of the group. Everybody okay with this?
We happily accept your gift.
I was making friends.
Yeah.
Makes it easier to rob them. And don't say that.
But he can read your mind. So Geek just sort of beckons you to follow, and you see what looks like the elder that you were talking to, or the sorcerer or shaman or whatever this creature was. He just starts barking orders to a couple of the other smaller red and some of them are red, some of them are yellow, some are a mixture of both. And there's walking between them is a larger, beefier, blue-skinned frog-like creature. He towers over all of them by at least 3 or 4 inches, and he's carrying a proper metal spear. It's small; it's only about the size of half of a spear that you would carry, but he kind of brandishes it, and just kind of he's there listening in and looking at all of you and regarding you, and just kind of keeping an eye on things. He's joined by another blue-skinned warrior that has a what looks like a 2-pronged spear, or a bident, if you will, and looks like it's made of bone tipped at the end, and it's got kind of a small rat skull tied around the head of it, and they're just kind of staying close by without becoming threatening. And Geek just sort of climbs the hill and beckons you forward like he did yesterday.
Someone want to stay and watch the horses? How big is this hole, by the way?
That's a great question. It looks like it could fit all of you. However, Koza, Sazaros, and Axton in his armor, it's going to be tight. It's going to be a little tight. It's probably going to be a little tight for Atgear, too, just because he's a little wider than he is tall.
You know, I'm adequately proportioned.
What size?
So if you're making your way in, I'm going to need those 4 individuals to make we'll say, just give me a straight... Yeah, Koza, Sazaros, Axton, and Atgear, just give me a straight dexterity check.
Okay, actually, I'll probably just stay with the cart.
Okay.
Ooh, that's not bad.
Luna will stay out with the cart as well.
Okay. Yeah, you do notice that a number of these creatures are eyeing the cart, not in a conniving way, but definitely just in a curious, what's in here. They're kind of they're crawling all over it and not being too polite about it. They're sort of looking through your stuff. Yeah, Koza, Atgear, Sazaros, you guys make it in, no problem. It's a tight squeeze, but you're able to kind of bend over and slide sideways and scrape across the rock, and you find yourselves delving downwards at a slope of about 20 degrees. It's a nice, gentle decline. The air starts to grow colder. The tunnel widens a bit, but you're still, all of you, except for Atgear, have to kind of hunch as you walk and crawl through this tunnel. You feel like you've probably delved down maybe 50 feet at this angle until you reach a wide open cavern. And you see this. You see what look like these large capped mushrooms with several stalk-like trunks underneath them, all lit from the inside. There seems to be a river of phosphorescent water that seems to be, it looks like perhaps the river above is filtered in through the rocks and mixed with some sort of mineral to form this phosphorescent kind of stream that permeates through this underground territory.
Wow.
Yeah, the chamber is huge. It's about maybe 80 to 90 feet tall, and each of these mushroom structures looks like houses several dozen of these frog-like creatures each. There appears to be kind of a central gathering area a little further in, where you see a couple of flames, torches, maybe some firelight, and as you approach this central area, you're just greeted by hundreds of these frog-like creatures, and they all seem very interested. And there are several of the frog creatures that are sort of explaining their way ahead of you, so as you don't seem to be getting assaulted on your way in.
All right, we continue. I continue forward.
Yeah, you sort of splash and slosh in the glowing stream, and you notice your feet kind of are covered for a brief moment in this glowing material. And as you are brought towards a central gathering kind of town square area, if you will, you notice something on the rock wall beside you. I'm gonna need. Who's in front? It sounds like Sazros is in front.
I can be. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check, as the dim light around here is a little hard to see. You see something scratched on the walls. Not quite sure what it is without some kind of light assistance.
I'm gonna use like an empty vial or a cup or something to get some of that phosphorant liquid and use that as a light source to look at it.
Okay. Yeah, you kind of bring an empty vial that you've got, or someone in the party probably has. Fill it with this material. It's not terribly bright, but it's enough to light the stone as you raise and you see this scratched in the walls.
Yuno's going to walk up to Sazros and just discreetly cast light on his vial.
Yeah, it brightens up considerably, and you're able to now see some kind of cave painting or carving in the wall beside you.
And I motion. I'm like, guys, look like anybody we want to meet.
Define meat.
Yeah. Not voluntarily meet, but someone we're definitely looking for.
Absolutely.
Well, this is out of character since I'm not there, but it could mean that the frogs are tasty.
Yeah, you should definitely taste of the poison dart people's flesh.
Yeah, absolutely. You first.
Yeah, great idea.
Great poison, you say?
Works for the French, right?
Oh yeah, they love poison dart frogs.
Frog legs.
Akir just starts licking all of the toads and trying to like rub their skin on his blades. He's like, I got this.
Right, it's not as creepy as it sounds, but it is as creepy as it looks.
Yeah. Which ones are hot death and which ones are the hallucinogens?
All right. Anyways,
Which one just stops your heart?
All right.
I'd say we're definitely in the right neighborhood if that's what their cave paintings look like.
Mm-hmm.
And you see other cave paintings as well. You see what look like a gathering of these little stick figures around a large fire, with some sort of spirit emanating from the flames high above. Nondescript, nothing specific, no horns or bat wings or anything like that. Just some sort of something that they're worshiping. You also see like animals in the area, like deer and bison and you know large lumbering beasts that are common in this part of the world. But this is definitely something that caught your eye right away.
Mm-hmm.
You see one of the creatures, one of the little frog people, watch you looking at the painting, and he just kind of points at it, and you hear him say, "No, big dog."
We'll look at Geek and and kind of give like a questioning look.
He just kind of catches sight of you and backs up and retraces his steps back towards you because he was a little bit ahead. He just kind of looks up at you and looks at the painting and just goes, "Big dog. Big dog, eat grung."
Big dog. Okay. Guess they think Luna is a little dog by comparison. Tiny.
We want to help. We want to
get rid of Big Dog.
Big Dog.
You find Big Dog?
We find and get rid of Big Dog so he will no longer eat you.
You just suddenly kind of see 2 or 3 of them that kind of understood you just stop dead in their tracks and look at each other and look back at you and look at the painting. You kill Big Dog?
Great, then you eat Big Dog. Mostly.
Yes.
They kind of rush you along towards the center of town, and they all seem a little more excited now.
All right,
and
that's what they want.
They hurry you along to the center of this large mushroom city underground here. And sitting against a stone wall in a high-backed chair made of like tall bones and wood sticks and staves, adorned in feathers and beads and small bones and similar these tribal markings and scrawled writing that kind of adorned the top of the spire. But as you entered, you see a very large frog-like creature with a smaller frog-like creature sitting on top of it. And he looks kind of like this.
Okay.
And several of the little creature, the little grung creatures, as he referred to himself, kind of hustle you towards the front of the group and kind of deposit you at the feet of this large bullfrog-like creature that doesn't really seem to be looking at anyone. Sort of like you just see the bellow of his throat just sort of expanding and retracting as he breathes and just kind of looking at it in all directions. However, the creature is sitting on top of him with this elaborate kind of headdress made of wood, sticks, and bones and beads, grasping what looks like a scepter. Just kind of regards all of you, and you start to hear the grung around you. They start chanting, "Dog, dog, 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 dog," louder and louder. "Dog, dog, dog." And finally, the creature sitting atop the bullfrog holds out both hands, and they all grow silent. And in pretty good common, you hear this creature address you all. "Why have you come to Grung Kingdom, big folk?" And you hear the little geek kind of hop forward. "They kill Big Dog." And
we're looking to kill Big Dog. We haven't done it yet.
With your help, we will.
Yeah.
And you see the chief kind of look over all of you. "Big Dog, tough to kill. Big Dog, eat rocks in Grung home. Make him stronger. Make him tougher. Make him shinier." And as he says this, you see several of these grungs start to climb like vines and roots up to the ceiling, and they look like they're holding like pouches or something of this phosphorescent liquid, and they start throwing it at the ceiling and the walls around you. I need everybody to make a perception check.
Damn, Barry.
That's what I do.
Wow.
Is what I do best.
So, Barinor, you get a real good look at the walls and the ceilings, and you start to notice these wide, gaping tunnels and collapsed sections, but there is something glittering in the earth all around and running in thick veins through the earth around this area. And one of the grung kind of plucks a big chunk of it out and kind of hops down and skitters down this vine and this root that they're holding on to. And they hand it to you and they say, "Big dog, eat. Make him strong." And he hands you a chunk of ore. Why don't you go ahead and make a nature check, Barinor?
Sure. Not so good.
It's not a failure. You get the sense that there's no such thing as steel ore, and it's shinier than iron. And the longer you stand here and look around, the more you get the feeling that you are standing in a gigantic platinum deposit.
Oh.
Boy. Oh my goodness.
How big is the chunk he handed me?
It's about the size of a baseball.
That's
His eye is light up.
a lot of platinum.
Hey,
I mean, it's raw. It's raw ore. It hasn't been refined, so it looks like if it were turned into platinum coins, it might make 3.
Sure.
Still.
It's still a lot of money, though.
And as you look around, you see large tunnels that have been carved in the walls and in the ceilings, and it looks like several of these mushroom structures that the grung live in have been collapsed and damaged, and it looks like a good third of these structures have been destroyed. And you know, parts of them have tried to been rebuilt with like a rudimentary kind of scaffolding system, but doesn't look totally safe. Big dog, come through. Big dog, made strong by rock. Big dog, destroy Grung village. Eat our people, and then go. Sometime, Big dog return. Sometime, Big dog stay away. You kill Big dog, you save Grung village. And you see the chief kind of poking his stick into the big dog, or the big bullfrog that he's standing on. The bullfrog goes and unrolls his big flat tongue on the ground, and the chief hops down onto it and walks towards you. You kill Big Dog?
Yes. We will kill Big Dog.
You kill Big Dog? You take home rocks.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And as you look around, it's not like you're standing inside of a hollowed out platinum boulder, but there are veins of this platinum material running all throughout this chamber, this cave system. And there are some where the veins intersect and there are just large, huge areas of what look like solid platinum ore.
Yes.
How often does the Big Dog come around?
They kind of look amongst themselves, and you see a couple of them kind of like using their fingers to count, and they're losing count here, losing count there. And finally, the chief kind of gets an answer that he's looking for from a few of the elders and looks up at you. Not sure. Sometimes every day, sometimes every month. Hasn't been back in a long time, though.
So it could be back soon. It could be back in a while.
And you help bring him here sooner?
Yeah, is there anything that triggers him coming here?
He comes mostly on surface, looking for food. And he kind of looks past you at the hole, the entrance hole, and says, "You come here with horses?"
Yeah.
Yes, we
Don't like where this is going.
No, I don't like where this is going.
And he just goes, "Big dog like horses, make lots of noise. Bring them fast."
Big people need the horses to get home.
We could use. I hate to be insensitive about this, but we could use Chunky Boy.
Yeah, we could. Might be a better
And he
plan.
claps his hands and says, You stay here. Come up with plan. Eat food with Grung Village. You kill Big Dog, you won with Grung Village." And you hear kind of the rabble of the common folk just they all start to cheer and clap their hands, and you see them just starting to kind of mill around you. One of them kind of gets under your arm, and you see this little tiny, like he's like a foot tall, young little blue-skinned Grung just kind of wrap his legs around Baranor's foot. And a couple of them hop on top of Koza's shoulders, and they all just they start talking to each of you and getting to know you. And while that's happening, we're going to take a 15-minute break.
Okey-doke.
All righty.
Okay.
So we will meet back here at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time and continue this nonsense with these frog people.
They are oh so very cute.
They are rather cute.
In the sort of Han Solo meets the Ewoks kind of way.
Kinda, yeah. All right, we'll see you in a little bit, folks.
All righty.
Okay, we're back. And, Bogey, I considerably appreciate your Galaxy Quest reference.
Great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah, it was between that and just that part where, the Ewoks were getting ready to roast Han on the spit.
Yeah, they definitely didn't seem that egregiously aggressive towards you. But let's hop back into it. Before the break, the Crown Collectors had met a tribe of frog-like creatures called Grung, and specifically helped one of the injured of their race, a small red and yellow frog man named Geek. And he ingratiated you into the group, and you found out that this tribe has indeed encountered the Shark of the Shambling Fields, or at least something very similar to it. That this tribe had encountered a creature similar to the Shark of the Shambling Fields. However, as you went deeper into this abode, this cave-like system that these Grung live in, you notice that the walls were adorned with more than tribal markings. It appears that there is a rich platinum deposit that runs in veins all throughout the walls and ceilings of this place, that possibly the creature you are hunting may have been subsisting on and enriching his body with. And platinum, being a rather sturdy material, doesn't bode particularly well for a soft carapace on this creature. But as you all kind of share drink and food with these Grung, we're going to pick it back up and take it from there. So, Crown Collectors, as you are kind of eating their food and drinking their drink, what would you like to do?
If we have a second, I'd like to ask if he could identify these arrows.
I can. Will I is a different question.
Oh, okay. Will you?
But yes. Is going to pull out his wand of identify and kind of just tap the arrowheads and see what I feel.
All right. Is there anything anybody else would like to do while I message Ken real quick?
I'm going to just start asking questions about what they know about this beast and their experience, what he's been able to do.
Okay.
And what if anybody that survived an attack, what did they do that helped them survive?
A couple of them kind of gather at your feet, especially some of the younger ones. They seem to be fascinated by Sazaros and kind of congregate around your feet, and they engage in conversation. It's not terribly intellectual kind of talk, but as you ask them, what brings on? Is that what you asked? What brings on an attack from Big Dog?
Yeah, if something provokes them or something.
They kind of give you the sense that this thing is attracted to a lot of noise on the surface of the earth, and something big and heavy with sort of like a footstep, kind of like a footstep type rhythm would do well to attract a creature of this type.
Okay.
All right.
I'm just gonna ask around and inquire about a large tree.
A large tree.
Some Paranor.
Push your grandma with.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I get the feeling that these arrowheads, if you fire them from your bow, so attach them to shafts and everything, they've got some sort of enchantment on them that deal 1d6 fire and 1d6 force as additional damage on top of the arrow damage.
Okay, and they're just arrowheads, not full arrows.
Yes,
Correct.
Okay.
You're asking, when you say you're asking about a big tree, they tell you that the plains of the shambling fields where you are pretty devoid of large trees. It's a pretty well sprawled out kind of meadow or water basin plains kind of area that doesn't really support a lot of trees. And the more you start talking to people about this big dog, get the feeling that it might be the reason there aren't a lot of tall trees, that maybe the plants in this area they don't get a chance to grow very tall before the earth is shifted because of this burrowing creature. And you might even get the feeling that this whole area is called the Shambling Fields because of that either this is Boulay territory where the whole area topography changes every now and then because of these burrowing creatures, or possibly because of the shark.
Okay. I guess I'll return to the party then and see what they're up to.
Do any other herds of animals live in this area, or has the big dog driven them all away?
Yeah, as you talk to these little guys, you're kind of getting a feel for their broken common, and you're able to kind of pierce the veil a little bit and kind of glean answers amongst their kind of caveman-like talk. They do tell you that there are large buffalo-like creatures that roam the plains that are pretty quick when they need to be, that are able to usually get away from the shark. However, there is a dwindling population of four-legged, long-necked, dinosaur-like creatures that roam this area that the shark really, really loves and always seems to go for, and they're very slow, so they typically don't really get away. And the Grung, they venerate these creatures, and they don't worship them as a god, but almost like a kindred spirit to be respected. And they're watching these populations dwindle to extinction. And on top of the dinosaur creatures, they also are hunted too, and every now and then the shark will invade their cave to feed not just on them but also on the ore within their cave, which they found that this shark is shinier than other boulets in the territory.
Okay. So it may be out of the question to ask if they think it'd be willing to sacrifice one of them to help draw the land shark out.
Upon asking that, you do see a number of the blue-skinned larger warriors step forward and puff their chest out as if to say, "I'll do it." And a few of the elders kind of back them off, saying, "That won't help. They're not attracted to our tracks or our footsteps. He kills us when he invades our cave. That's when he comes and eats us, is within our cave. But when patrolling the land above and hunting, they don't seem to really attract them. They're just so small, you know?
They're so small. They're not big enough to cause any tremor.
Right.
But, the big dinosaur cows, you said that they respect them too much. That would probably be poor. I'm kind of like whispering to the next person over to me. It's like, yeah, that'd probably be poor form to ask to see if they would be willing to sacrifice one of those big beasties.
Are you asking that of the grung?
I'm whispering that to the person next to me, whoever that may be in the seating order.
Well, I'll say that in your conversation, you never got the impression that they had any control over the dinosaurs. It was just they described them as massive. Now, the grung are small, so you're not exactly sure how massive they are.
They could be the size of a bulldog.
Yeah, they could just be bigger than them. But you never got the sense that they have these creatures under their control. So asking them to sacrifice one would probably be a waste of time because they don't really... They can't control them. They're too big.
How far away are they?
They say, you ask how far are the large creatures, and they say they typically roam and graze the plains half a day's journey north.
Okay. I mean, that could be one possibility is we could try to herd or corral one of these things to try to help draw the belay in. Or any of the large buffalo herds create a stampede.
Yeah, do we want to go find a way of luring this in, or do we want to sit and wait for it as well?
I would rather we do something proactive.
Yeah, we need to do something more proactive because we're on a schedule.
I understand that. I'm just thinking out loud in case,
Oh yeah, sure.
we leave to go steer one of these dinosaur things, and the boule attacks the village while we're gone.
As you guys are discussing this, you see that these grung are starting to settle into an evening of kind of celebration, or maybe not celebration, but just kind of like an easy party hang kind of a thing. And you see that a number of these grung are affixing this large, wide, leather-stretched drum. And there is what looks like a pendulum attached to it with a large rock affixed to a wooden pole. And there's what looks like a green gem on either side of the hinge where this drumstick, if you will, is attached, and they look like they kind of grasp them, pull them in opposite directions, and let them snap back into place, and the two gems start glowing, and this big stick with a rock starts swinging autonomously. Dum, 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 and they all start dancing to the chant, and they all start beating their own drums, and you see this. Yeah, this thing is just sort of making its own music on its own with the assistance of these gems on either side of it. You become extremely interested in how this works.
Just a curiosity, I'm going to point up with that. Does that thing attract the boule?
They say that within the cave, the sound doesn't really travel through the metal of the rock. But if we were to bring this what they call the mana drum above the surface, they have lost more than one war party carrying these when feuding with a rival tribe and been interrupted by a boule attack.
I think we have our lure.
What was that? I heard a few people speaking.
How many of these do you have?
Make a. Are you asking or are you looking around?
Yeah, I'm asking. How many of these mana drums do you have in your tribe? Just this one, or are there more?
We have 4.
Hey.
Everyone looks over.
And we all just have this. We found our bait.
So, who would like to broach this subject?
Sure. I ask them. Can we use the mana drums to lure the big dog in so that we may kill it?
You see them kind of look amongst themselves. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okie dokie. Bam.
A bang, bada boom.
Wow. 30. That's incredible. That's high levels persuasion right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Natural 20, a 10 in persuasion. Yeah, they say yes, no problem. They don't even ask for any. I was going to make them try to persuade you to give them something of yours, but no. They see this as a great idea, a great way. I mean, never mind that the mana drum is sacred to them. It doesn't matter. You're going to get rid of the dog for them. That's all they care about. They totally agreed to let you borrow one of their mana drums.
Perfect.
One of them. Okay.
It's starting to get late. You guys have been passing around or been offered tiny little thimble-sized tankards that they've made themselves out of clay, and been offered these strong drinks that have a very mushroom-like earthy flavor to them, with just kind of a spike at the end of the aftertaste. Not enough to get any of you drunk, unfortunately. Not even the lithe of frame of you like Yuno and Baranor. Just not enough alcohol in there to get you messed up. You're feeling a little good, a little loosey-goosey, but I mean, there's grung around you that are falling down, and sounds like they're trying to sing songs and get you all involved. It seems like a lively bunch of little tribal characters. One of them kind of stands. One of the larger blue-skinned warriors kind of stands in front of Atgear, and just kind of puffs his chest and kind of I would say he kind of belly bumps him, but he kind of comes up to your abdomen or your waist and kind of presses his chest into yours and pokes your armor with his little webbed finger and holds up a fist.
Hey, so Akir is just going to grab as many of those thimbles of alcohol that he can and just start feeding it to the Grung. There we go.
You're gonna just douse him with his own drinks?
Oh no, I am going to call him out to a drinking competition.
Okay. Ooh. So he dusts off a small stool in front of a table and squats down in front of it, and you see Grung just start to layer and pile these little thimble size. Now to you it's the size of like a shot glass, but he grabs it in his hand and downs one immediately and puts it upside down in front of him, and everyone kind of looks at you. And I'm going to have him roll a con save. Okay, not bad. All right.
Akira's going to down 2 at a time to make it fair.
2 at a time. Oh, okay, so give me a con save at disadvantage.
Constitution save, disadvantage.
Where's that?
Or it says poison resistance.
Oh, yeah. Does my poison resistance count?
No, it's not. It's not necessarily poison. It's alcohol made from mushrooms. It's not like you could probably. You get the feeling you've sort of been drinking this all night. You get the feeling you could drink a gallon of this and get drunk, but not poison. So it really doesn't affect you in that way. Good try though. Okay, Constitution. All right, 8. So you down 2 at a time, and you've already been drinking, so it kind of hits the back of your throat, and you feel like 2 of these. That's enough to feel like an actual shot of whiskey to you, and it hits the back of your throat, and you're kind of takes you off guard a little bit, and the rest of them kind of look at the big blue warrior, and they just kind of like shove 2 glasses at him, and he just kind of looks at the 2 glasses and looks at you, and he's like, okay, and he downs them both at the same time, and yeah, he gets a 17 and a 19. Yeah, he passes that. So he downs them both, no problem. These grung have grown up on this grog. And you see him kind of look at the 2 thimbles, and it's a little awkward in his hands. And you hear him kind of burp and gurgle at a couple people, and they bring over what would be for them like a half cask or a half keg. And they kind of chop the top off of these tiny little wooden barrels, and he dumps out what looks like a wine or just some other kind of liquid, and they start filling these 2 little tiny tankards that for you look like a proper pint, but for them, when they hold it, like they got to grasp it with 2 hands, and they start drinking with that. So he kind of slides yours towards you.
All right then. Now it's gonna be a party.
So we're gonna say at disadvantage you get a 17, and yeah, you down it. It hits the back of your throat. It's warm, but you're starting to get into your dwarven drinking phase. You know, this mode of yours where you kind of ready your stomach and ready your stamina to kind of outlast this small. He's like 4 feet tall. He's much shorter than you, but he's much taller than his compatriots. And you're going to definitely outdrink this guy. You're certain of it. So he kind of watches you down this drink, and his little buddies are kind of egging him on like, oh, look what he did. And so he kind of sits upright, grabs this thing, this tankard that looks huge in his hand, and opens his mouth real wide and downs all of it down his gullet. And that's, oh my God. Hold on. This happens so rarely that I have to
double 20s.
I have to document it for everybody. But he fails, needless to say. And let's see here.
Once he starts getting intoxicated, I'm gonna attempt to encourage him to join us on our hunting expedition.
There you go.
Hey, someone that can drink as well as you. I can tell you're far too brave to be hiding in this village while we go out and do the warrior's work. You should take point. Walk in front of your mana drum. That way when you return, everyone knows that you had a hand in defeating the dog.
He kind of leans forward, and his eyelids start to droop a little bit. They refill both of your tankards, and he kind of takes his webbed hand and slaps it on your shoulder and just goes, I go with you. We kill dog. And a little bit of spittle kind of comes out of the corner of his mouth.
Adgeir's going to do the same thing.
My name Morp. What you name?
You can call me Adgeir, but my friends call me Adgeir. Also, really just Adgeir. Pleasure to make your acquaintance, Morp. And I'm gonna burp in his
drink
face.
Now.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah, the DC is increasing, but you did manage to succeed. You down another one. This stuff's starting to taste pretty lousy. It never tasted great to begin with. It tastes like dirt. It tastes like dirt. Now, as a dwarf in the mines, you're accustomed to the taste of dirt on your tongue. It's kind of hard to avoid, but downing a beverage that has that earthy taste to it is just not super pleasant. And you see Morp just kind of wavering and watching you down yet another tankard of this mead or ale or whatever it is. He's like his blue color is starting to drain a little bit. He's starting to look a little grayer. His buddies are starting to poke his shoulder like, brr. he grabs another one of these things and starts to teeter-totter a little bit. And, oh boy, not great.
Oh no.
He gets about half of it down his throat, and you just see the tankard just drop on his head, and he wears it like a bucket and falls straight back on his back. And everyone's just like... You have won the drinking contest, Sir Dwarf.
Yay!
Yay!
Valandiir did it!
Why does it feel like I just arm wrestled a child? Right, I'm gonna go take a nap. And Agir is gonna go. So yeah. He's just gonna take the barrel, right, the thing that he was drinking out of, and he's just gonna use it as a pillow in the traditional dwarven manner. And he's gonna go pass out in the back of the wagon. Hey, just wake me when it's time to kill a bullet, or a dog, or anything. Just point, I'll do the work. And he's gonna knock out.
Atgeir is going to retire. It's about 9:30 right now. It's starting to get dark again. Axton, you see Atgeir sort of trudge over to the cart, holding what looks like an empty tankard, and rests his head on it and falls asleep.
Okay.
All right, then.
And that is also where I'm going to dip out, because I got to go pick somebody up real quick. But I'll see you guys next time. Good luck.
All right.
Hey, man.
Have a great 2 weeks, Mike. We'll see you next time.
Take care.
As the celebrations start to really royal, it seems like these are some heavy partying frogs. They start to. You see a couple of them approach you, Axton, and kind of approaching you very curious like, and kind of looking at themselves in your armor. Your armor is not super chromed out and gleaming, but it is shiny. And if you were to approach it and get real close, you would be able to at least see the color of your skin in the reflection of the armor. And that's what it appears a few of these things are doing. They're approaching slowly. They don't want to provoke you in any way, but they're definitely kind of enthralled by you. And Sazros, you as well, you watch a few of these small frog-like creatures kind of looking at themselves in your scales, what few are exposed in your hands, your face, your neck, and they see a rather interesting instrument on your back, and you see a couple of them kind of touch it, and you hear a dung, ding, ding as they're kind of stroking the strings a little bit. It seems like they're kind of crawling all over you.
Okay. So I go to stand. I'll kind of stand a little bit just to stretch, get my mandolin out and strap it from my back, get it to my front. I sit back down and then just start playing a just kind of a nice little, lovely little campfire song.
Right on. Let's go with... And you start to kind of add a melody to the thrumming percussions of their mana drum. And they all start to kind of admire the sound that you're producing from this instrument that they've either never seen or never seen played. And they all just kind of crowd around your feet and listen to this very interesting sound. You see a couple of them like looking at your hand movements, and they you see one of them take a stick and stretch like a string of like sinew or something over it and start like plucking it the same way you are, and it's not really making any noise at all, but they're kind of like mimicking your movements a little bit.
I kind of give a smile and a nod, trying to encourage him. It's like, yeah, that's how you do it.
Go ahead and give me a performance check with advantage. Oh. Holy moly.
Oh my
Pretty good. Pretty good indeed. So, with your double 19s, you kind of rouse the crowd, and and the crowd grows around you. Unfortunately, they don't really throw any copper or silver at you. You don't see any of them really exchanging money. But you're definitely growing the interest in this performance of yours among the Grung. Maven.
Oh.
It's all right. She's been muted for a while. Yeah, you're kind of wandering throughout the village of the Grung, just kind of taking in the scene of a people that you have never experienced anything like this before. You've heard of underground tribal creatures before, but you never imagined they would look like this, or act like this, or have the structure of their society. It's something that you're taking in all the while. And you are kind of fascinated by the paintings on the walls that you're seeing. You're noticing a spirit emanating from fire, and with a head made of almost like it's made of a elderly bearded man. And there's something very familiar about the way they painted this entity's face that they worship. And you look down at your holy symbol, and it's almost an exact replica.
Yeah, it's very similar.
And one of the little Grung creatures just kind of walks up to you and sees you holding the symbol of Pelor. And they kind of look up at the cave painting that you're looking up, and they kind of make a connection. And they give you they raise their hand up because the poor thing's only like 2 feet tall. Kind of give you that universal symbol a baby gives you of up.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'll pick him up.
He's a little yellow-skinned Grung with kind of black splotches across his muzzle. And he kind of looks at your symbol and reaches for it a little bit, and grasps it in his hand, and he just kind of, you can't tell if this is a female or male. A lot of these are very, it's very ambiguous on their gender, but you see this creature kind of look at you and look at the wall and look at the symbol, and he just kind of looks at you and says, "Grandfather?"
Oh yes, the Dawnfather for sure.
Godfather, and he just kind of like holds it in his hand, and he says, "You, Godfather?"
Oh yes, I worship the Dawnfather.
And the little creature just kind of smiles to himself, like he's never seen the symbol on the wall in real life, and just seems very taken by the fact that you have this similar connection between you. And you notice as you look on the wall that the little creatures on either side of this fire where this spirit is emanating from, they don't look like Grung. They're very stick figure like, but they're tall and lithe, and they're carrying like axes and swords, and they don't look like as tribal. And now that you're sitting here really studying it, you get the feeling that this painting was not created by the Grung, that it looks different in style and artistic license than the rest of these cave paintings look.
Do you know who painted that?
Oh, Godfather come long before Grung. People live here in Grung Cave. They take shiny rock. They make this painting, but then they go long before Grung come here. long before I come here.
Oh, yeah.
My papa, he tell me of big folk like you. Come here, take rock out, leave painting. We see painting. Look like something worth worship. So we worship the Godfather.
He's definitely worth worshipping, I will tell you that. This is really cool. I don't know what it means.
He just kind of nuzzles in the crook of your arm. I mean, he's the size of an infant. He's teeny tiny. And you see another little turquoise-skinned grung child just sort of like tugging at the bottom of your pant leg, and he gives you the symbol of up as well.
I'll scoop him up too.
And there's another one, and I mean, at this point, you've probably got 3 or 4 of these grung children up in your arms, and they're starting to kind of talk amongst themselves and whisper to each other and pointing at the painting and pointing at your holy symbol, and you just kind of spend the night conversing with these little creatures, and you take a look around and you see that there's some nearby adult grung that look like they could be related. Maybe they're parents, maybe they're guardians, just kind of keeping an eye on you, but they've got kind of a subtle smile to their face as you kind of chill out with these little kids.
I'm all for this.
So adorable.
I love it so much.
This is so cute.
So wholesome.
If only I had an artificer to make a camera.
But as the night draws on, it's getting pretty late. You start to hear the grung tribe die down a little bit, and hold on here, get the mood right. You start to hear, cave sounds, dripping, a little bit of dripping here, a little bit of like echoey, peeper frog-like sounds. Perhaps there are other creatures in the cave that are similar to the grung, albeit lower on the evolutionary ladder, starting to make noises. Maybe it's the grung themselves. You don't know. Maybe they have kind of a nighttime aesthetic that they adopt when it's time for sleep. But you do hear the tribe start to die down. You all get the feeling it's getting later, and Akir's nowhere to be found. He's gone. Axton seems like he's still out at the cart.
All right, well, I guess we should also ourselves turn in.
One of us want to go outside and check on Axton.
I'll go. And I start to wander off and look for Axton.
Yeah, you find him leaning up against the cart. He's sort of got his arms folded, his ankles crossed. He's leaning back to the cart. Looks like he's dozing a little bit. His head is nodding. Axton, you hear the familiar sound of a large
knee.
What's that?
Luna's just kind of laying next to him with her head on his knee, but kind of little eyes open, kind of looking.
Yeah, you hear Baranor approach, Axton.
And just two
somebody else went out, not me.
Oh, I thought it was Baranor. Was that Koza that went out?
Yeah, it was me.
Okay, yeah, you hear the shuffling of his druidic feet, and it kind of snaps you out of your little doze.
Okay, cool. How's everything going on in there?
Going great.
Cool. Do we find out any information?
Oh, we've just been kind of hunkering down for the night.
Okay, I thought it was this was still early day when we got here.
You got here you first arrived around late midday, and it started to get into the evening as you you've spent a number of hours. It's not quite midnight or anything, and like I said, it's around 9:30, 10.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Man, we blew the whole up.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought we woke up
Yeah,
probably an hour or two and got here.
fresh in the morning, yeah. So we've been in there all day.
Wow. Okay. Well, okay, I guess we'll rest up and are we staying here for the night? Like, what's the plan?
I'd imagine we're staying here for the night, and then we'll,
You know what? You guys are right. You haven't been here all day.
Okay.
You've been here about maybe 5 hours. 5 hours off of 9 o'clock in the morning.
okay.
Yeah, it's mid-afternoon.
Yeah, it's midday, early afternoon, maybe 1, 2, 3 o'clock, something like that.
Yeah, I figured maybe
we
we'd
did
do
a whole
that.
lot of nothing all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's Akir that threw me off because he drank so much that he passed out.
He's a dwarf.
I figured maybe we'd travel that half a day journey or whatever to maybe find the big dog.
Okay.
We may have a way of luring them closer.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I'm not. Never mind. Cool.
Yeah. So
Don't split the party.
yeah, I'm going to tell the tribal leaders that we're going to go out to our cart to talk to our other friend while you guys get things ready for the mana drum and show us to where we can kill the big dog.
Okay. Yeah, through a series of burps and gurgles, he kind of agrees with you, and you watch as he kind of barks some orders at some of the larger blue-skinned warriors that begin unstrapping and making the mana drum a little more mobile.
All right. So we'll make our way out, or at least I will. I don't know if the rest of you will.
I'll come out.
Okay.
All over you.
We get a bucket of water, splash it on Atgear, drag him out.
Well, let me at him. Where's the dog?
We're getting there, big man.
He just kind of gives a big belch and blows out like this acrid brown fog out of his mouth.
Ew.
Right? Let's go then. So yeah, after a few minutes, you see them cart out this. It's about the size of a 55-gallon drum, with a large length of brown leather stretched across the top and strung with string on the bottom, and it has this hinge-like apparatus, kind of almost like a trebuchet arm built on top of it, with these two green gems on either side of the hinge, with a stick, pretty decent-sized branch kind of stick, and a honeydew melon-sized boulder lashed to the end of it. And right now, it's kind of in a taken apart. It's kind of like in a disassembled state. And as they kind of hoist it up and put it on your cart, they then kind of bolt everything in place, and it seems a little more put together as they leave you with it.
So what's the plan? Like, what are we going to do? How far are we traveling? Do we have any idea?
I think we need to prepare for this first. We need to make sure that we have the resources on us to survive this. We need to make sure we have healing potions. Make sure our spellcasters have their components about them. We need to make sure that we can last this fight.
I know.
I think it'd be smart.
When we went shopping before heading out, we got a couple of potions. We have 3 potions of healing and 1 potion of greater healing. I'm happy to divvy those out. All right, so who wants one of them?
I'm good for now. I will.
All right, I'm going to give 1 to Axton. So Axton, you can have 1 potion of healing.
Okay.
I'm going to give the 1 to Koza.
Okay.
Oh,
You keep the last.
do you want one, Una?
No, I usually don't get injured too badly, so I'd rather give it to somebody that's probably going to be more upfront and
Maven.
kind of.
Maven.
So give Koza extra because he tends to die.
Yeah.
Listen, man, it was one time.
He died once in a row.
Once in a row.
That's one time too many.
That's one time more than anybody else. Just saying.
Maven, do you want one?
Sure, I'll take one.
All right, and I'll hold on to the greater healing one.
All right.
And just for point of order, in my campaigns, using a potion of any kind, it can be used in a bonus action way.
Nice.
Okay.
I will also attach the arrowheads to 10 of my arrows, however long that takes.
Yeah, you mean you can get it done while riding in the cart?
Sure.
The little blue-skinned warrior who was going round for round with that gear kind of chases you guys down as you're making your way down the hill north, and kind of hops up on the cart and sits in Sazeros's lap, and he says, "I help direct."
All right, my friend. Lead on.
And he just kind of points his little webbed finger in the exact same direction you were going.
Thank you very much.
I help good.
Right, as I give Axton this what the hell kind of look.
Yeah, you guys travel about 4 or 5 hours. It starts to get a little late in the evening. And you start to notice large sections of loose soil in the ground. And the grung on your lap, Sazero, starts to grip his little spear. And he starts looking around a little nervously.
All right, are we close? My motion to him. Is this a good spot to set up?
No, this too far south for Big Dog's territory. But this what land looked like when he moving around. And you start to hear a low rumbling, and the horses all begin to get really spooked. Yuno's horse rears up. I need Yuno to make a dex save.
That'll be a 17.
17, yeah. You kind of hop off the edge of your horse before it kind of throws you, but it definitely wanted to throw you. And yes, there's kind of a low rumbling of the ground, and you start to see the loose soil and the little bushes start to shiver and undulate. And there's something tremoring the ground underneath you. What do you guys wish to do? Ooh.
I will cast.
You don't see anything quite yet.
No, but I think we need to get everybody stopped.
Are there any large boulders or anything like that within sight?
Oh yes, there's rocks everywhere.
Like big rocks though.
No, not terribly large.
Okay.
Rocks
Big enough for one
enough
person, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, there's some boulders big enough to stand on, sure.
How about for the cart?
The cart, make a perception check.
All right. 17.
17. You don't really see anything that you could use to drive the cart up onto, per se.
Okay.
There are boulders and rocks, but I mean they're up. They're kind of they're round. They're up in the air a little bit.
Got it. Nothing flat or anything. Okay.
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
right. Well, let's try to get the horses tethered, and we'll ask the Blue Warrior to if he could get the mana drum set up, and I point to an area kind of to the right of where we are in a clearing, since he's not attracted by his footsteps because they're too small. If he could set up the mana drum there.
He kind of gives you a look like, mana drum big, me need a little help.
Get at gear.
Right, no problem. I'll help the little wee fella out. And I'm going to have Atgear. Once I do something here, bear with me. What are the rest of you doing as the caravan has now stopped?
I guess I'll just keep watch to see if I hear or see anything come out of the ground or where the rumbling could be coming from.
Go ahead and make a perception check, because you do hear a rumbling in the dirt beneath you. Yeah, it's difficult to really make out exactly where this is coming from. It seems like it's coming from a little bit of everywhere. All around you in a way. Let's see. Sorry, I'm quickly putting a thing on here. About this time, Atgear and Morp, they complete their construction of the mana drum, and it's just kind of thumping on the ground. It's not really super loud, it's just rhythmic. Let's see here. Dang it. God forbid I try to do something on the fly. Okay. 1, 2. Oh. So, the ground is shaking. You're not exactly sure which direction it's coming from, but it definitely is troubling to a lot of you. Oh, for God's sake. All right, the map is not cooperating, so we're going to do no grid, and then you guys can use your arrows, your what do you call it, ruler, to find out where you're going. So I'm going to move everybody on the map.
Cool. Well, I do see the grid, though.
Yeah, that's part of the map that was already there. I just kind of grabbed one off the internet, but it's funny to try to get the website to account for what the grid on the map is. So it's just being a little stupid right now. So that's okay, because what's that about? Yeah. So if you guys want to go ahead and move your minis on the map for now.
Is there any particular direction or location we should be in?
You can hear... Yeah, you guys can put yourself smack dab in the middle. Perfect. And let's see. We'll say the horse and cart is here. Right about there. Yeah. Okay. So for right now, what you hear is a low rumbling coming from over here and over here. You're not sure exactly where it is. Maven, if you want to throw yourself in the middle with the rest of the group, and I'll grab Atgear as well. Yeah, and you can just say that you guys are on your horses or whatnot. The two of you that still have horses. And don't forget about Luna, and don't forget about Chonky Boy. They can both be out there as well. And no, I don't think you've summoned him today, so...
I haven't summoned Chonky Boy yet. Although I probably will.
Okay, so that'll
Not
wait.
today.
Yeah. And let's see here. Because I don't think I've got a frogman, but he's blue skinned, so we're going to use Daunt's last known image as the little blue skin dude, and he's over here. He's hopped down. So, everybody's on the board, and you hear a low rumbling that seems to shake
where the drum's set up.
Sorry?
Where's the drum set up?
Good point. Let me see here. I bet I could find an image of a drum. Never mind any of the other crap that I've been looking.
Atgeir should probably be pretty close to the grunk, I think it's called.
Yeah, Morph and Atgeir were a team when they were setting up.
That's true. Here we go.
And they're already not that close to the cart.
Did it let me do it? Let's do this guy. It's not letting me drag stuff. Why? Come on, this is a good picture of it too, dang it. You worthless piece of junk. Oh, that works, even though it's not what I want. There we go. Dung duka dung, dung duka dung. So yeah, there's sorry?
I said I was trying to make them to actually put it somewhere like here.
Okay. You're the man.
All right.
Yeah, they set it up. It starts making noise. The horses are getting pretty nervous. What would you guys like to do from here? As you hear a low rumbling in the dirt beneath you, it's getting a little louder, but you're not seeing anything yet.
It's not if, but when. Can Baranor, can you help calm the horses? Or is he set up?
I can certainly try.
I will say this.
You already head out to take position.
Seems like he's near you guys still. Baranor, you asked me if there are any boulders big enough to handle the horse or handle the cart. I will say there aren't any boulders, but this area here, okay?
Yeah.
And this area here, and this area here, those are elevated.
Right.
They do seem to be sitting on heavy rock formations.
Can the horses get up there? Can the cart get up there, though?
You can certainly try. I'm not going to say no outright. I will say that this area right here looks like a slope that slowly elevates up to this space, like that.
Koza is going to cast Bark Skin on himself.
All right. That gives you an AC bonus, right?
And that means my AC can't be less than 16 no matter what I'm wearing.
Right on.
I could cast Speak with Animals and see if that'll help calm the horses down.
Okay. You cast Speak with Animals. Go ahead and give a persuasion check with advantage.
All right. Which is not my forte.
Bum, bum, bum.
Persuasion. All right. Not good. I'm not great with the persuasion. Animal handling,
it was enough to get the point across, and these horses are not super into being scared like they are. So we'll say, well, you couldn't. Where did you want them to go?
Well, at first I was just trying to get them to calm down, and secondly, we want to get them up onto some high ground so that we can at least preserve them from whatever's coming. So, at least for the time being. So,
okay, so show me where you wanted them to go.
All right. Do we want them to go down? My clicker's not working. We want to go down to that slope, right, guys?
I would worry about sending them all en masse because the sound of a galloping herd may attract the valet.
Well, slowly,
Yeah, we could try to put them up onto that rock formation area. Why not?
All right.
Down here?
Yes.
All right. With your 12, I'll say you coaxed them right about there.
All right.
That's as far as you got them. The other horses, however, are still in this vicinity.
Okay.
At this point, the Morp is going to leave this area, and Atgeir is going to follow him. And it's not too long after that the rumbling grows greater and more violent. You start to see earth start to shiver and shake all over this area here. And from this dry spot of dirt, you see the I'm sorry, somebody saying something?
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to take any actions before. I was going to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to cast Enhance Ability.
Okay.
And use Bear's Endurance. And I'm going to cast it as a 3rd level spell. And I'm going to use that on both Maven and Axton.
Okay.
That means you two will have advantage on con checks, and you also gain 2d6 temporary hit points.
Oh, wow.
2d6?
2d6.
Do I roll them or do you?
DM, how does that work? Am I the one that rolls them?
Yeah, you have to roll for them, yeah.
6.
Nice.
Okay, 6 temporary hit points.
Yeah. Very cool.
Advantage on con saves. Okay.
It's about this time, unless anybody else wants to do anything. No? No takers? That the dirt and earth in this region right here starts to really shiver and quake, and all of a sudden you start to see rocks and clumps of dirt getting thrown into the air. Yeah. Something, at some point, pops out. There we go. Pops out of the ground with a smooth, rock-like face coming to a taper in the front. It bursts out of the earth and lands on these 2 stumpy clawed paws in front of it. Blam! It ain't that small.
It's way bigger than that.
It is about this big, though.
Everybody's got a mean streak a mile wide.
Yeah. It's about that big. It takes up about a 10-foot square. And it is instantly zeroing in on the drum, but it also sees all of you as well. You hear this kind of emanate from its mouth. It seems pretty perturbed to have company. It thought it was getting an easy meal. And in that case, I need everybody to roll initiative, please. There we go. All right. Oh, there is a large, sort of a stone-colored, shark-looking creature up here, and he looks like he's getting ready to charge Maven or Sazros, not exactly sure which, but you get the drop on it. What would you like to do first?
So Yuno's going to back up a little bit to kind of right in front of this boulder here, and Yuno's going to cast slow.
Okie doke.
So he has to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 16.
Oh boy. Can't wait to fail this. That's a 4 plus 0.
So his speed is halved, and he takes a -2 penalty to AC and Dex. Or Dex saving throws. And he can't use reactions. And it can only use an action or a bonus action, not both. And it can't make more than 1 attack during its turn, and it needs to make a wisdom saving throw every turn.
Okay. Start of its turn.
That spell is really complicated.
At the end of each turn.
At the end of his turn, gotcha. Okay.
Many conditions.
So you all see this thing's like shaking the dirt off of his haunches, and just kind of reaches with his hand, and this green energy just sort of twirls off his fingertips and hits the creature square in the face, and he kind of like blinks his little eyes, and you start to see all the dirt being shaken off of his shoulders start to slow down as his movements start to slow down, and he kind of looks around. Almost like a drunk person would like blink slowly. You start to see this creature kind of regard all of you, and that high-pitched screeching sound kind of emits from his mouth, kind of like.
And then is going to suggest that if anyone has any other ability to slow it down, we could reduce its speed to nothing, and then just keep hitting him in the face with stuff until he's dead. Because he can't. Just a suggestion for anyone else out there, and just out of spite, is going to use a bonus action and try to telekinetically shove the giant rock monster back 5 feet.
Okay, that's a strength check.
Yep.
That's an 18 plus 4 is 22.
He passes. He goes nowhere.
He's a stout son of a gun. He's got his little knuckles dug deep. All right. You want to use any more of your movement, or are you all set? All right. Up next is Maven with Koza after her.
Okay. I'm going to try to hit it with a radiant sunbolt.
Okay.
17 to hit.
17 is exactly what you needed to hit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. That's with the -2 AC
-2?
penalty.
Okay, you go above his AC. So you definitely hit.
Little bit weak damage.
Okay. His AC is different now. Okay. 8 damage, you said?
Yep.
All right. A radiant blast from your spiritual symbol just kind of arcs this yellow light that kind of spirals in a kind of a lightning pattern and just kind of ricochets off his carapace. I mean, it hurt him. It doesn't seem to do a lot of damage, but it definitely reacts, and it seems to react like a half a second later than you think it would, as its speed is slowed and just like.
And then I'm gonna move over there. And then I'm gonna use 2 hands and hit it with my quarterstaff.
Cool.
Natural 20.
Natural 20! That's a good start.
Very nice.
Oh, you were using 2 hands.
Yes, I was. That'll be 10 points of damage. I rolled like
10 points of damage. Nice. Yeah, that one hurt. You could feel your knuckles or your hands kind of vibrate when you're recording. You just see a couple little flakes of like aim, which is super effective.
It is a 5-foot radius, so I'll put it like right on his face, right there. And he has to make.
It's a what kind of radius? 10 feet?
5 foot.
Oh, it's a 5-foot radius. Okay.
He has to make a Constitution saving throw.
Con save, indeed. That is a dirty 20.
Ooh, dang it. Hang on.
Yeah, but he takes half, right?
He takes half.
Okay.
So let me roll damage and then we'll have it.
He's pretty hardy.
Okay, 2d10. Okay, he takes 7 points of damage, right?
7? Hold on. That's half. You should do 15 or 14.
15.
Yep, that's 7. Okay.
He takes 7 points of radiant damage. I think if he starts its turn there, he takes an additional 2d10 if he fails his save.
If he starts his turn in that space, he takes the damage.
Yeah. And then I think it says I can use an action to move it. On your turn, after you cast this spell, you can use an action to move the beam up to 60 feet in any direction.
Cool.
And I don't know. That'll end my turn.
All right. Axton, you're up. Baron on deck.
Okay, I guess I'll charge up to it on the other side of it.
Okay, if you can move another 5 feet north, you would flank. If you have that movement.
Well, yeah, I was right here, so if I just use the... Whereas... Oh, the turn order's in my way.
Stupid turn order.
Yeah, I have plenty of movement there.
Yeah, you can flank that way.
Okay. I don't know how I put that arrow there. There we go.
What does flanking do? Does that give him advantage?
That'll give me advantage in the attack, yeah. Okay, so I'll take out my greatsword, and I will swing twice.
Swing away!
Okay, first attack. 22 to hit.
That definitely hits.
Okay, that's 14 damage, but I'm also going to do a menacing attack on it.
Make him fearful.
Ooh.
That's 17 damage.
Make this big puppy all kinds of scared of you.
Yeah, as long as he... Well, he has to roll a wisdom saving throw to see.
Okay. Since he doesn't have any bonuses, I'm just going to roll it on here. It's a 12.
Oh, he is frightened.
All right, let me put that on there.
He's frightened of me until the end of his next turn.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Scaredy cat, scaredy cat, scaredy cat.
Till the end of mine.
Let's go with this one. Okay.
Second attack. Where is it?
21 hits.
13 damage.
Okay.
And I will also trip him. Strength saving throw or be knocked prone.
That is an 18 plus 4 is 22.
That passes, but that was 18 damage.
Got it.
And I will then use my action surge to attack 2 more times. 22 to hit, 12 damage.
That hits, that damage sticks.
24 to hit,
okay.
14 damage.
Yeah, you're not, and you're noticing as you're smashing this thing up with your greatsword that you're exposing little pieces of flesh behind the stone-like exterior of its armored carapace.
Oh, and that'll end my turn.
All right, Barry Nor, you are up with Luna next, and then Morp goes, and then Sazaros.
I think Luna and I go at the same time. I'm not sure how that works exactly, but
make it sound cool, and I'll allow it.
Well, for the moment, Luna's just going to stay by the horses, so not going to be too big an issue. Just a curiosity has anyone verified that this is the actual shark of the family fields that we're looking for? Does it look?
Not right now. We're
yeah. Right. Yeah. Never mind. Okay. All right. I'm gonna move right about there, and I'm going to take 2 regular arrows, and I'm gonna aim for some of those spots you were just mentioning that are opened up.
Oh, okay. Go for it.
19.
19 hits for sure.
All right. And damage
10
on.
points. Okay, are you shooting with your special arrows?
No, these are regular.
Okay.
I have something else that would do that for that.
Right on.
You know what? For the second one, I'll use one of the special arrows.
Okay.
All right. Let me see if this works. I tried to put it into the roll 20. Let's see if this actually goes. All right.
Yeah, that hits.
I don't know why I did it. I don't know why I did it with advantage, but that's weird. And then see if the actual damage works. Yeah, that looks like
it's an additional fire and additional force on top of the arrow's damage.
right. So it's the 9 is the regular damage, and then the 12 is the fire and force.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So you pull back on this arrow and let loose, and it impacts right in the side of this creature's jaw, and you see it blast apart the stone, revealing a red-pink interior skin-like material and underneath its armor. And you notice the flames kind of race and lick up the side of its head and then go out, but there's like a scorch mark and like a heavy impact damage, and there was kind of a glittering spark associated with the explosion. You're very impressed. Very cool effect with these arrows that you're noticing.
Yeah. And that'll be my turn.
All right, and you said Luna's she's using the hang back option.
Well, the only thing that she can do is the dodge action on her turn, unless I use an action to command her to do otherwise.
Gotcha. Okay. Morp is going to get into position over here, and he's going to chuck his little tiny spear at it. Ooh, that's good. That's a 19 to hit. So he does. You see his spear just sail through the air. And as he throws it in the air, you also watch him pull out 2 hand axes from his belt. That's a whole 2 points of damage as the spear lands, chink, and kind of sticks and kind of slices and then falls off the back of the creature's armor. And let's see here. Yeah, that's going to end his turn. Sazaros with Atgeir up next.
All right. So I look towards the beast. I was like, I was going to try to cast Detect Thoughts, but that would be pointless in your case, wouldn't it? And use Vicious Mockery.
He kind of grumbles in a slow motion. That's,
Wisdom saving throw.
Yep, that's a straight 8.
So he will take 2d4 of psychic damage.
Cool.
And we only rolled 1d4. Let me roll another d4 to add to that.
All right.
So 6 points of psychic damage.
6 points of psychic. You see, as you kind of do a quick strum like a guitar riff after your insult, kind of adding a little salt in the wound, and you see his mouth and carapace start to reverberate, and a couple cracks form on his armor as a result.
And he also has disadvantage on his next attack roll if he didn't have it already.
All right, disadvantage. I don't believe he did. Okay. Okie doke. Anything else, Sazaros?
I am going to use my bonus action. I'm going to look over to Axton. I'm like, man, if you keep this up, we'll be home in time for supper. And I give him a D8 of Bardic Inspiration.
Very cool.
And I'm going to use my movement just to back up a hair bit. Go back here.
Okay.
Thus, end this my turn.
All right, Atgear, seeing his little toad buddy chuck a spear, he's going to pull out his dagger of returning, and he's going to throw it as hard as he possibly can. Yeah, that definitely hits. Boom, boom, boom. He's going to throw another one of his and you see him throw this thing. It sticks in the armor, disappears in a puff of smoke, and you see it return back into his hand. And he's just like, all right, this was definitely worth the money I paid for it. And he's going to throw one of his other daggers. And unfortunately, he's got this set to auto damage, but that one does not hit. So you see him throw his other dagger, and it twirls in the air, glances and sends sparks as it flies off the top of this thing's armor and sails off into a bush. And that's going to end his turn. It is the Boulet's turn, finally. Alright, first things first. He is at disadvantage, he is slow, and he is frightened. So he's going to turn around and instead take a swipe at Maven. And he's going to perform a deadly leap. And since his speed is 40, he can definitely make 15 feet, because that's half, so 20. He only needs 15 feet of movement. He's going to leap into the air and slam down. And let's see here.
Is there really that much of a slam where he's slowed?
Well, he only needs 15 feet of movement, and he's got 20 to work with, so...
Oh yeah, I know, but isn't he kind of like slow falling?
I would say he's slow to jump, but once he actually gets in the air, gravity kind of takes over, and he's going to slam down. Now, fortunately, nobody else is in this space, but Maven, I'm going to need you to make a dexterity saving throw, which I'm sure you'll...
It's like stealing candy from a baby.
What'd you get?
17.
17. Ooh.
That's one of
you almost failed, but you didn't. Alright, so that is... You take... 4, 10, 15, plus 4 is 19. Half of that is 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
And... another 9 points of slashing damage as his thick blade-like knuckles slam down on you hard. You don't go prone, but you are pushed 5 feet out of his space. So I'm going to knock you back over here. And he just creates this huge crater-like divot in the ground, and the dirt sends you flying. And as his knuckles kind of smashed into your head and torso, you go flying back a few feet. But since he only has one action, that's the end of his turn. And he's going to make a wisdom save to try to get out of it, isn't that right? I think that's Yuno's spell of slow.
He gotta make a wisdom save DC 16 or he's still slowed.
What? I didn't catch what kind. Is it wisdom?
Yep.
Okay. That's a natural 13, so he is still slow. But it is your turn, you know?
Let's see. Yuno's gonna just use Toll of the Dead.
Okay.
He has to make a wisdom saving throw, DC 16. So
that's a natural 17 plus 0.
Oh, so he passes, so nothing happens.
Ooh. I mean, yay. I mean, I don't know how to feel.
So that's going to end Yuno's turn.
Okie dokie. Maven, you're next with Koza on deck.
Okay. I'm going to move back up, and I'm going to hit it with my potion.
Okay.
Just a reminder, each attack is at advantage.
Yeah, you're flanking with Axton, so you get an advantage on these attacks.
Awesome.
She's basically just going to hit it 40 times.
25 to hit.
Oh, yeah.
Oh boy.
That'll be 8 points of damage.
8 points of damage. This thing's starting to look pretty rough. It's got cracks all up its armor. Parts of its armor's flaking off. Starting to bleed from different wounds in its mouth, on its face.
Did you roll that con save for Moonbeam on its turn?
I did not. It does take damage from the Moonbeam, does it not? That's a con save?
Yes.
That's a 16 plus 5 is 21.
Yeah, he still beats it, but he still takes damage.
Roll it.
Alright.
And then we'll get to Maven's, 2 other attacks?
At least.
Okay, so he takes 6 points of
6.
radiant damage.
And 6 still count. Alright.
Okay. So for my second one, it was 23 to hit.
Yep, that hits.
And then, so that'll be 11 damage.
Alright.
I'm going to spend a key point and do some another 23 to hit.
Okay, that hits.
Oh boy.
Okay.
I gotta come up with something to kill Maven.
Wow, man, you've been dealing with monks for like 4 years.
Yeah, and they are notoriously difficult to challenge. Some would say broken, but not me.
24 to hit.
At least not officially.
Yep, 24 hits.
And
Boy.
7 more points damage.
Alright.
And then
It's starting to get shaky on its stumpy legs.
That'll end my turn.
Okay. Next up is Koza with Axton on deck. Koza, what you doing?
I am going to look at it and cast Guiding Bolt. So he... Oh no, I just have to make a ranged spell attack. That. Add anything to that. Yes, a 6. Okay. One moment. Ooh, not great. That's an 8.
Does not hit. I believe that's hit or miss, correct?
Yeah, it's hit or miss.
Alright. Well, your Moonbeam's still up.
He's gonna take damage on his turn anyway. If he doesn't die before then. Yes. I can't really do anything else. I'll end my turn.
Okay. Axton, you're up.
Okay, I will again try to chop it down with my greatsword.
Okie dokie.
Axton, he's our man. If we can't do it, we're all hosts.
I will use... hold on, I will use my precision attack.
Yeah, I figured.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll hit. Definitely. So that 14 damage will count?
Yes.
You don't add anything with precision damage, right? That's not a thing.
Just
yeah,
to the attack.
Alright, so you chop off with your greatsword a large section of the left side of its actual jaw-like carapace on its upper kind of skull area and expose this pink, bleeding, profusely pink flesh underneath. It's not looking good, guys. It's looking pretty rough.
And for my second attack... take a look. Yeah. 27 to hit.
Definitely hits. Yeah, you actually get your greatsword in between its armor where you just opened up a large section of it and just shove the sword straight into its head. And you can hear it kind of gasping and gurgling blood and trying to make it through this horrendous attack. You hear this... And for the moment, your sword might be stuck in its body. Not quite sure yet.
Well, I'm just checking to see if I have any bonus actions I can do. I guess that'll be it for my turn.
Okay, for the moment, your sword is stuck in its flesh.
Cool.
Baranor, you and Luna are up.
All right, Luna's going to stay put. I am going to bonus action Hunter's Mark.
I know I can find a thing for that.
He is no longer frightened of me, by the way.
Good to know. Okay. There we go, a little target.
All right.
That works.
And then I'm going to fire off 2 just regular arrows at it.
Okay.
Because I am not convinced this is a real thing yet. All right.
That hits.
6 plus another 6. 6 plus 5 for Hunter's Mark.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
that's 11 points.
Yep. And
Baron, how you want to do this?
I'm gonna aim for fresh jaw.
Okay, your arrow. You're kind of watching Axton kind of struggle with his sword as he got it stuck on the other side. You can't exactly see what's going on, but as he's struggling and the big beast's head is shaking left to right violently, bleeding profusely from several wounds on its body already, you kind of shoot and watch as Maven gets ready for another strike, and just as she's about to hit it again, your arrow strikes true right in between the armor plates of its body, and you know for sure with a gout of blood that you've struck something vital. It gives a wallowing bellow and slams down onto its side, just narrowly missing a pinning maneuver on Maven. She's able to kind of flip and cartwheel out of the way. It is dead skis. Yeah. You see Morp. He starts to walk over to it very nonchalantly, and he picks up his spear that was actually jammed in between one of the armor plates, pulls it out, and stabs it right in the middle of the fleshy bit of its stomach, and he goes, "Ha! I kill the little dog."
Wait a minute.
Wait,
Did you just say
little dog? Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm just over here. Called it.
You see him start to. He starts to carve bits of the flesh out, and he's like gathering chunks of meat, and he starts to kind of bite on it and gnaw on it a little bit. I mean, he has little tiny nubby teeth. But he starts kind of eating this guy's flesh, and he just looks at it and he goes, "Yes, little dog, still dangerous, not like big dog."
Oh no.
Okay, well, at least we can say we had a good warm-up.
Yep.
Yeah. Now Big Dog is.
Now we're ready for the big leagues.
Big dog's territory is still a ways north. Must travel
Okay.
a little farther.
Okay. Well, I'm going to need a rest to get some of my actions back.
It is nearing the evening hour. The sun is starting to dip. You guys have been traveling for about 4 or 5 hours, and you lit out around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's starting to get a little late in the evening. The sun hasn't quite set, but it's getting there.
Before we travel on, this bullet, does it have like the platinum streaks through its like armor?
Go ahead and make an investigation check as you kind of kneel down and look at its armor-like carapace.
Oh yeah, I'm super strong with that.
Super strong.
It's difficult to say. It's cracked it's got a lot of cracks in its armor, a lot of blood running throughout its body. It's only about, I'll say, maybe 15 feet from tip to tail. and about maybe 8 feet to 10 feet tall is about how tall it looked. It was a big creature, mind you. It was a large creature to be tangling. You definitely probably didn't want to have handled this on your own, but the 8 of you were able to handle this thing quite deftly without taking too much damage at all. And you get the feeling like if this thing was legendary, there's some pretty weak-ass legends running around. And to answer your question, you don't see any veins of platinum in its armor. It just mostly looks like rock.
Okay.
I look at Morp and like, do the little dogs eat the shiny rocks?
The little dogs, they have trouble piercing through our cave to eat our shiny rocks. Big dog has no trouble.
Good boy.
Okay.
That's
Good to know.
perfect.
Good to know.
I'm hearing that.
Would here probably be a good place to camp then, without traveling too far north?
I think-
Baranor, make a survival check.
I was talking to the group, but sure.
You look around and find that the place that it erupted from was very, very soft soil. And right around the area that you were about to put the horses is almost solid rock. So, based on what you've been told, and you guys kind of talking about this for a little while, you get the feeling like if it can't burrow through solid rock, it would at least have trouble hearing through solid rock, and anything solid would be a much better place to camp than soft earth.
Right. I'm saying camp here where we have at least hard rock surfaces, as opposed to traveling further north where we have a much larger boule that can easily burrow through harder rock. Catch my meaning, guys?
Yeah,
I do.
I think it'd be smart to camp, outside
How
of
many-
this territory.
Yeah, I looked at Morp and I'm like, how much of a day will it take to get to where the big dog lives?
Not far, maybe half day.
Okay.
Crap, we're just burning time.
Well, this is day 3, right?
This is the end of day 3.
Right.
Yep.
And we have all of tomorrow, and then so 4 days to get back, essentially.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we don't even have enough time to pose for commemorative photos before we got to load up and get going.
Again, with the artificer not having a camera, with that whole situation.
Not true. But you catch my man.
Yeah.
Well, while you guys sit there and conceive of where you'd like to camp, we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session.
Sure.
Hey!
I want to thank you guys for going a little late.
No worries.
The time in the Grung Cave definitely was worth it, I think. So
You see what happens when you help people as opposed to throwing javelins at them?
exactly.
Yeah.
Our next session, I believe, is December 4th. And I'll
be
ask.
absent for that.
Yeah, I'll ask anybody. Is that going to be a issue with the holidays? Because that, if it's not, that will be our last session of the year. Or we can.
That's going to be rough for me as well. That day is going to be hard for me.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
figured.
good.
So I tell you what. We'll go ahead and break for the holidays today. And we will meet back here, not the 4th, not the 18th, not the 1st, but the 15th of January is when we will all be back here.
It's a long time from now.
Yep.
It's like a month. Jeez.
Yep. That's kind of how it is, I figured, with the holidays and everybody. I figured just give everybody a break. let everybody have time to do what they got to do for the holidays, and then we'll all come back here fresh on the 15th of January to finish out these last 4 days of your timeline on getting this legendary creature under your control. So that being said,
that actually works really well for me. So
that was a lot of fun, guys. I'm glad we were able to squeeze a little combat into there. And if anybody wants to converse with me, don't hesitate to contact me over Discord. You guys know me. I'm pretty good about getting back to everyone. And don't forget about us, because it's going to be a long break. But I will do my best to get this audio up either tomorrow or at some point next week. I'll be posting funny memes across the Discord chat. Feel free to do the same, and I'll see you guys in a little over a month.
All right, sounds good.
Hey guys, happy holidays.
Happy holidays to everybody.
Bye.
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 Bye.